Hello, everybody. How you doing? Let's see who's in chat. All right, I see Raymond. How you doing? Lesser, how you doing, man? Peter, hi. Hi, Dark. Hi, Ryan. Hey, Buster. Hey, Viking. Hi, Dark Resurrect. Hey, Nobody Not Me. Hey, Cynic. Hello. All right, how you guys all doing tonight? Hey, Monkey. That figures every time I start streaming, Monkey gets out of bed. Sorry about that, man. All right, we got a few news articles to cover. Hey, Nico, how you doing? Okay, guys, you know the drill. No felonies in chat. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And let's talk about Nash Bridges, because apparently that show's coming back to the USA Network. Variety had an interesting article on this. It's not currently raining. We had freezing rain earlier. I was not a fan. I spent 10 minutes fighting with cheap trash bags that won't open. Like you can pull them out lengthwise, but then opening them up so they'll actually receive trash seemed to be a bit of a challenge. Hey, Otho, how you doing, man? Went out of bed, just hurt like hell. You should stop hurting, Monkey. That was not approved. Lord Floofington will be most displeased. Nash Bridges tackles 21st century policing and millennials versus boomers in USA Revival. Oh, look, two geriatric men going to solve crime in what is probably going to be a very low budget and uninteresting follow-up to a low budget and particularly uninteresting show. When Nash Bridges came to an end in 2001, series star Don Johnson felt like they didn't have a chance to finish the story. The detective drama had been on the air for 6 seasons, but political circumstances between producer Paramount Network Television and network at CBS kept it from getting renewed, the actor recalls. Paramount decided the production cost was too high, even though the series still had decent ratings for CBS. 20 years later, the show is still a success in syndication. I don't get why. That show was silly. As TV's nostalgia boom has led to reboots and revivals, no, that's just lack of creativity in Hollywood. Of dozens of late 20th century titles, the door was open for Johnson in his titular Special Investigations Unit captain role in a new format and on a new network. I feel like there was more to be mined in these characters, plus I love the tone, being able to do something that is incredibly dangerous and demanding, but also is a comedy inside the four walls of a cop show. Johnson told Variety. The revived Nash Bridges, which begins with Johnson's Nash getting suspended from the force, and then jumping forward a year later when he goes back into action, originally started as a chance to repilot the crime drama for the 21st century. For the scope of the story, Johnson and writer, executive producer Bill Chase wanted to tell was too much to be crammed into a single episode. The result is a 2-hour movie that airs November 27th on USA. These reunion shows tend to be stupid. Johnson is an executive producer on the telepic that has reunited him with original series co-star Cheech Marin. Maybe they have matching walkers too, because they're all pretty fucking old. Hey Brett, how you doing? Like a dollar store condom? Yeah, pretty much. Cannibal Wizard, how's it going, man? Chick that tased her veg? Jesus, why? No one asked for the original, right? Hey Frank, how you doing? Hey, how's it going, Viking? Hey Kevin. Blah blah blah. We're picking them up where we left off from. Why this was 20 years ago you left them. Then something crazy happens and he's away from the force for a year. Nobody cares. During that time, he's had some time to reflect and had conversations with Cheech's character where he was deciding whether he wants to come back and realizes he has to because the city's in terrible trouble and only an old man can save it. Geriatric Nash Bridges to the rescue. As in any episode of the original series, there's a crime that needs Nash's attention, specifically a surprising murder of someone you don't like. The whole thing would have been just about solving his murder and would have been like a really satisfying hour of TV. But what it spins off to is what gave us the scope of a 2-hour movie. It's probably just going to be a 2-part episode. Who cares? Nash reunited with... I don't care about any of this. Oh, okay. Nash is reunited with his former partner, Joe Dominguez, Marin. And he also has to work with the next generation of law enforcement, namely Stephen Colton, who Nash first labels him as a millennial snowflake and butts heads with because of Stephen's insistence that Nash has to not be so quick to draw his weapon. And, oh, God, this is already sounding awful. In crafting the story of the Nash Bridges movie, Chase says that he thought a lot about how policing today is different than it was 20 years ago. You work on a shitty TV series. How in any way is this... I saw Nash Bridges a few times. How in any way does that portray policing in an accurate light? Well, he still wants to capture the same 80s buddy cop tone of the original series. He also saw an opportunity to tell a show about a person who is an ascendancy and the master of all he has surveyed and just kicking ass and everything in one era. Now it's 20 years later and it's a different era. How's he going to function? You guys remember Hollywood Homicide with Harrison Ford and some shitty actor nobody remembers? That was what this sounds like. And that was a terrible film. That was one of the few rare, terrible Harrison Ford films. Didn't watch it in the past. Can't summon the interest to watch a new one. Gramps the cop gonna break a hip. Yep. Was a tree at school play once. Bit of an expert on trees now. Yeah, pretty much. The difference between the millennials and the boomers was what Johnson thought gave it this story its unique blend of comedy and conflict and made him excited to step back into the world of the show again. Or he needed money. There's a line I ad-libbed that I think encapsulates what we're talking about here. We're checking our guns and Steven says, "What are you doing?" And we say, "We're checking our guns." "What for?" "To be ready." He says, "Have you ever thought about talking to people?" Nash goes, "Yeah, I love to talk to people if they're not throwing hot lead at me." Oh, that's true. The key, both Johnson and Chase says, was showcasing the differences in Nash's old school ways with today, but not pretending to be one to be better than the other. Yeah, right. This is Hollywood. The idea is someone who's older and came off in a different way actually has something to teach and actually has a lot to learn. And we felt it went both ways. We never wanted to be preachy. We always wanted to be sensitive to the issue. And the world is different. He wasn't part of any problems, but the world has changed. And maybe there is more he could do to be part of that. Yeah, just accept our ways because, this pussy-ass policing is done so well. Right, San Francisco? How's your Walgreens doing? Another thing that needed to change at least slightly was the way Nash carried himself. He, too, is decades older, after all. Yeah, now he needs to get a hurricane to get around. I stay fit, and I do it for the mental part of my being more than the physical part. Although the physical part is incredibly important for flexibility and just a good, healthy life. Thanks for that lesson, Grandpa. So I felt that it's important to bring that to the character. But I also felt it was important to say, okay, yeah, you can still bring it, but he's going to wait a minute or two before he brings it. Yeah, he's got to get out of his chair, use the little lift feature. He's wiser, but less likely to be the testosterone-filled dude that would kick in doors and be the first one through the door and all that when he was back then. Look, the guy's old. He can't kick in a fucking door. How old is Don Johnson? Like 70s? Come on, that old man would throw a hip out trying to do that. Probably throw his back out too. Shut the fuck up. This is dumb. This is just sad. This is a sad cash grab. But he's still quicker than most to jump into action and creating action sequences for the Nash Bridges movie. That's something Johnson pushed Chase to do. We'll see. Miami Vice was in the 80s, and that was, almost 40 years ago at this point. So, yeah, you're just an old man. Stop it. Get some help. Yeah, they go on to talk about this. This is fucking dumb. Hey, Rotten Corpse. Hey, Hate Camel. Hey, Cougar Knife. How you doing? Can't stay in chat. I'm going to fall asleep. Nice. I hope I make your dreams more exciting. But I thought this was a dumb idea to redo this. You're not going to capture that magic in a bottle. It's like watching the Gilligan's Island movie, a decade or so after the show went off the air. You're not going to capture that lightning in a bottle. You're really not. And it's kind of sad and pathetic to try and cash grab off of it like this. Like, you could have just done a different show about like Nash Bridges' kid or something, also named Nash Bridges. It's just lazy. Really, really lazy. Hang on a second. Sorry, my sinuses are flaring up. All right, let's see what we got next. All right, let's talk about DC Comics. This comes from Bounding. This is stupid. All right. DC Comics and WarnerMedia teaming up with Biden administration to promote the vax for kids. Like, this Sesame Street stupid shit wasn't enough. DC Comics and WarnerMedia are following the footsteps of Big Bird and Sesame Street in their joint push with the Biden administration to push for childhood Coof vaccinations. DC shared a tweet and press release publicizing the initiative that includes giveaways of posters, bandages, coloring, and activity books to Children's Hospital Association and medical facilities. They tweeted, "We are thrilled to collaborate with WarnerMedia, Children's Hospital Association, and the Biden-Harris administration to promote the Coof vaccines by providing blah, blah, what I just said." I like how they put a character nobody knows in here. Like, that's the new Wonder Girl. There's the super gay Aquaman, bisexual Robin, gay Superman's in here, of course. And, like, the big Trinity characters that everybody knows are kind of the same tiny size as this bitch that, like, 10,000 people that bought the comic know. You got Static and fake Blue Beetle here. It's dumb. They should have just had the big three. Maybe Supergirl. You could probably throw a Teen Titan or two in there, but nobody knows who half these characters are, I don't think. I mean, the average person. And I'm not talking like grown-ups, like 20 years old that grew up with Teen Titans Go. But like your average kid has no idea who this entire bottom row is. They might know this is Robin, but that might be Damian Wayne. But even fewer people know who that is. And they're not going to know Big Gay Superman, and they're probably not going to know Raven. But these four are way more recognizable, especially the Big Trinity. So it's fucking dumb. Kids 5 to 12 will receive the custom DC designed posters to theme the hospitals, along with DC superhero branded adhesive bandages and coloring books, said the release after they got a shot at a children's hospital location. Oh boy, you're getting a vaccine you don't need because somebody wants to give you a shitty poster. This will be an ongoing collaboration between the WarnerMedia and administration, so it's safe to assume it will continue for the next 4 years. Shocker. I've read DC Comics, and they're pretty much just progressive chick tracks rags. First Lady Jill Biden made an appearance at a Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, where actors dressed as Superman and Wonder Woman to meet with kids, and they were given their shots and paraphernalia. Paraphernalia? What'd you give them, a bong? They'd probably like that more. So yeah, there's a little video here that I don't care about. I like how they use Kirk Langstrom in there. We are honored to be supporting the real-life heroic work at the Children's Hospital to promote childhood vaccinations against the Coof. Oh, God, this is pathetic. More shameless pandering. Oh, Batman and Robin. What a garbage movie. In reaction, vocal parents, some of whom are public figures, worried about the safety and efficacy of questioning mask mandates and compulsory shots louder than ever. But this isn't going to stop the publicity campaign to try and get your kids indoctrinated to just follow orders for trinkets. So I think this is pretty lazy and sad. I mean, they've done this sort of thing before in the past, both Marvel and DC, where they did like the seatbelt stuff. Fine, that's an actual safety issue. They also did anti-smoking campaigns and anti-drug stuff. So it's not that surprising or original. It's just kind of lazy because I don't know. I think this is just shameless political pandering at this point. Because this is such a hot button issue too. Not like people really were upset about seatbelt or anti-smoking ads, but this is much more of a political issue than either of those. I mean, most 10-year-olds aren't lighting up cigarettes. Yeah, they did two Gilligan's Island movies, Raymond. The one where they got off the island and then went back, and then they turned it into a resort in the other one. Opening a hotel. Yeah. Yep. I like the Static Shock cartoon. Yeah, I remember the cartoon was pretty good. The original comic series wasn't too bad. The new one's garbage, though. Latest DC Comics I read was Death Metal. Didn't really care for it. Like the Curse of the White Knight run better. I haven't read the second White Knight series. I've got it. I just haven't read it. But the first one was okay. Not a huge fan of that art style. But it was all right. The Dark Knight's Metal I thought was pretty good. The Death Metal was fine. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. But yeah, I think the worst ones I've been reading have been DC books, really. That turns out to have been bad long-term effects. Tragedy scandal will be a lot of influential people with egg on their face. I think it'll be worse than that. Public trust will go way down in them, including the government. So that's probably what would happen is there's going to be a lot of backlash. Some of that anti-smoking crap almost makes me want to pick the habit back up. Yeah, well, it's super lazy now because they're not even trying to talk about the health effects. They're talking about, like, I don't know if you guys have the Truth commercials out where you guys are, but we have these commercials that are truth.com, and it's about these like social effects of smoking and a bunch of half-truths and misleading info. They're really, really annoying. They're so preachy. It's like watching commercials for the Jesus people, the evangelicals, hammering you over the head with dumb crap. Yeah, propaganda, not even once. Speaking of propaganda, though, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by dropping some cash on the Streamlabs link that is pinned at the top of the chat or in your chat now. It's also the first thing in the description, as well as the merchandise store, Patreon, and a bunch of other crap. I don't even remember what I put down there now. But that's all in the description if you want to check it out. I do have some really cool merch. I got some of the pint glasses in. They're really, really nice. I was actually really impressed with those. Hopefully they hold up well. But yeah, they seem really nice. And yeah, Patreon, I've got a bunch of exclusive videos up there, that sort of thing. I know a couple of you guys are patrons, and I do greatly appreciate that. New patron video should be going up tomorrow, too. Last Marvel comic I read was the latest Captain America run, and it was god-awful near the end, both plot and artistically. But the plot line introduced at the end with the Red Skull's daughter. Yeah, the Red Skull's daughter actually could be interesting. She's been interesting before with Sin. But Ta-Nehisi Coates does not seem to like the United States of America. So him writing an iconic character like that just came off as weird and artsy and very disingenuous. And he just made Captain America into this self-loathing crybaby. It was really, really bad. Most likely won't follow through. No, they're not going to. The creative teams they've got on these books, like you could tell Marvel is kind of ashamed of Captain America. He doesn't make very many guest appearances, and they've tried to turn him into a Hydra agent, and they had to retcon that because it was so unpopular. They've tried to sideline him several times, try to replace him. Everything they could do to get rid of this blonde white guy who represents the values of America. I don't know why his skin tone matters, but it seems to really matter. And they've been doing this for decades with Captain America. They have no idea what to do with him because he is a patriotic character. Instead of making him just like adventure man who happens to imbue the ideals of individualism and hardworking and meritocracy, stuff like that. No, they got to sideline him and cuck him at every chance they can. It's really, really sad because he's got a great rogues gallery. He's an interesting character, and he's a patriotic character, and they can't have that. You're one of the few that liked it then, Raymond. But yeah, it's a real shame that Marvel has no idea what they're doing with their own characters now, and they seem to hate their characters, and they're slowly doing the replacement thing again. It's a lot more subtle than it was last time, but DC, on the other hand, is not even trying to be subtle. They have a new book called Aquaman, where they're making Arthur co-Aquaman with the annoying kid. They're replacing Billy Batson on Captain Marvel. Or on Shazam. The new champions of Shazam is going to be focused on Mary becoming the new champion of Shazam, because they wrote out Billy in a 4-issue miniseries they did. Yeah, none of us are falling for it. They had to kill him. Yeah, they're sidelining all their big characters so they can bring in these woke characters, which we're going to cover an article on Hawkeye here in a second. But it's really disgusting and lazy, and it hasn't worked. It's not going to work. You want to temporarily replace them for a storyline or something, that's fine. But you always have to bring them back in short order. Otherwise, you lose the core audience. The core audience is there for those specific characters. They're not there for your lazy replacement ones that are really poorly written in their Mary Sues. It's really tiresome. And the new characters they've been introducing haven't been catching on. It's really pathetic. They've already ruined Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers beyond repair. They've probably done that with several other characters where the fans are just beyond giving a crap. But sidelining the main character so that you can introduce some more socially acceptable one is just lazy writing. It's pathetic, and they're not stopping doing it. DC is hard doubling down on that theory, and it's really, really tiresome to see. Okay, let's talk about Jeremy Renner for a second. Also from Bounding, Hawkeye actor Jeremy Renner reveals standoff with Marvel over demand for more time to spend with daughter. I'm fine. I said, fine, recast me. Good on him for this. According to Jeremy Renner, his demand for more contractually obligated time to spend with his young daughter led to a standoff with Marvel, which saw him refuse to back down even in the face of potentially being recast as Hawkeye across the MCU. Now, they've made it very clear they have no intention of recasting any of these main characters. So if he walked, they're actually out quite a bit. Fucking Kate Bishop. I haven't even bothered to watch this. Don't give them your fucking time. I've heard so many bad things about this. I have no interest in seeing it. And we'll get to Masters of the Universe in a little while, because I was forced to watch that at my buddy's house today, and I have thoughts. Civil War II, terrible bitch of a character. Yeah, Raymond, if your introduction to Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, was in the last 10 years or so, you're going to hate the character. The last good rendition was Miss Marvel by Brian Reed, and that was the last time she was good. Before that was fine. She was kind of a side character. She wasn't this mega powerful Mary Sue bitch queen. So back in the 80s, she was just a powerful character. She wasn't this omni-level god character that could do whatever she wanted and didn't need no man. No, she was just a powerful character. And there's some pretty messed up storylines with her, too, if you go back to old Avengers stuff. Renner revealed how his prioritizing of his relationship with his daughter led to a butting of heads with Disney and Marvel during a recent interview with Men's Health, published on November 17th, 2021. Speaking with staff reporter Alex Something, Renner recalled how often his then-girlfriend, now ex-wife, Sony Pacheco, gave birth to their daughter, Ava Berlin Renner. He realized he needed to spend more time than just a few hours in between work and travel with his newborn daughter. Good for him. Negotiating with Marvel taught me how to have the nuts to say, everyone fuck off, it's my time with my daughter. Yeah, good for him, man. That takes a lot of guts to do, because they easily could have recast him. However, his demand for a contract more welcoming to fostering a relationship with his daughter was apparently far from easy, and the actor noted that various individuals close to him warned that his refusal to budge on his demands could lead to Marvel firing, a potential which did little to even budge his fatherly convictions. I said, fine, recast me. I'm going to be here with my daughter. It's pretty gnarly. In the end, it was described by Alex. His determination paid off. Now Renner insists on being able to visit Ava or have her visit every weekend on every project. If the producers balk, he passes. He's got enough money, he could say, fuck you. He's rich. He doesn't need their time or money, but being there for your kid, way more important. And very few Hollywood types would do that. Concluding his thoughts on how important his relationship with Ava is, Renner humorously asserted, acting and everything else goes out the window until my daughter says, I want to hang out with my friends and I don't want to hang around you so much, Daddy. I never knew that resting face I would have could be beautiful, Renner admitted in response to Alex's observation of his bright demeanor when discussing his daughter. It's not on me, it's on her, on Ava. Good for him. Too bad he's stuck in this stupid-ass show with fraud Hawkeye. To further drive home how important Ava is to Renner, fans look no further than the rapid-fire portion of his interview. Asked by Alex about the last time you cried, Renner quickly fired back, yesterday. My daughter brought home her spelling tests, aced 100%. Now, see, he sounds like somebody that's involved in his kid's life, and that's good. So, good for him. It's rare you see Hollywood people actually care about their kids beyond being fashion accessories. Hey, Keely, how you doing? Hey, James. Hey, Richard. Captain Marvel makes me want to do the angry Buffy stare. Yeah, I hear that a lot about that character. Binary. You mean Photon? The binary storyline was okay. I don't like it when they keep changing characters' names. I think it's kind of lazy. Do it once and leave it. Like Miss Marvel was fine of a title. She should have left that alone. I think the writers really wanted to keep the Captain Marvel name away from DC so they could profit off of it. And that's really what that was all about. Hey, Evil One, how you doing, man? Yeah, Civil War 2 was stupid. It was way worse than the first one. There's only one blonde female superhero who was kicking ass back in the 90s, and her name is Buffy Summers. Well, that's pretty accurate, actually. Mayor of Kingstown. I've heard of that. I haven't seen it because I don't have Paramount Plus, but I've heard it's good. I'm doing okay. Hey, Sherry, how you doing? My wife went to high school with Renner for what that means. Oh, that's cool. I bet he was a dick in high school. But he seems like a nice guy. He's got a pretty good reputation. So we'll see how that plays out. But good on him for wanting to spend time with his kid. Not a lot of Hollywood types do that. All right, let's do some sad news. It's from the Daily Caller. Young movie star Joey Morgan dead at 28. Best known for his role in the Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Died Sunday. He was 28. Joey Morgan passed away early Sunday morning. This is last week. A rep for the actor shared it in a statement with The Hollywood Reporter in a piece published Monday. It was a shock and devastated all of us who loved him. The rep said, he will be dearly missed. Hope everyone understands how painful this is for loved ones and can respect boundaries and allow them to grieve in private. At the time of publication, there was no details of the cause of his death. I still haven't seen any, but that always makes me think it's suicide or drugs. But he was like an up-and-comer, supposedly. Some of his friends and coworkers listed some condolences. So, yeah, if you saw that movie, another person taken way too soon. 28 is a really young age to go. Could have been a heart attack. I'm guessing OD or suicide. Could be both. A lot of young Hollywood stars get real into the drugs. We saw that with River Phoenix and even Chris Farley. So that's a sad loss. It's always sad when people that young die. because their parents are still alive and probably grieving pretty heavily. Hopefully, anyway. Hopefully, they're not shallow, hopeless scumbags. Did he get the whack? I don't know. He may have had dirt on the Clintons or something. He was going to be cast in a movie as a young Bill Clinton called Rapey McRapes a Lot. All right, over at Bounding. In purple-haired weirdo news, X-Men 97 supervising producer Charley Feldman declares Kyle Rittenhouse is a fucking murderer following his acquittal. So, factual inaccuracies. What? I can't believe they're rebooting this animated series. It's going to be so woke bullshit. Especially you look at this person and you're like, yep, you're going to destroy the 97 X-Men. Good job. But they have to destroy everything that was the past so they can delete it from memory. In the wake of the full acquittal, Kyle Rittenhouse on charges of homicide in relation to the now infamous events of August 25th, 2020, X-Men 97 writer and supervising producer Charley Feldman has weighed in on the jury's verdict, rejecting their decision and declaring that the Midwest teenager is a fucking murderer. That was one sentence. Jesus Christ. Come on, Spencer. You always do this with your paragraph-long sentences. Knock it off. Take a grammar class, for God's sake. Taking to Twitter on November 19th in the near immediate aftermath of the verdict's reading, Feldman asserted to their followers, fuck off. The cynical inevitability of the Rittenhouse verdict doesn't take out the pain of what his status quo racist bullshit represents, the terror it instills, and the lethality it codifies. All his victims were white. How do you get racism? And she also said F white supremacy, which there's no evidence he's a white supremacist. Shut the fuck up. Through her attempt to paint the legality of the self-defense in the U.S. as an element of white supremacy is outright absurd. Yes, it is, especially given how said self-defense laws allowed it for Andrew A.J. Coffey IV, a black man, to be acquitted of similar charges that same day. Hate fact. It comes as no surprise given their own social media history, which reveals a genuine belief in popular social justice narratives. Shocker. Shocker in SJW. Oh, in Hollywood, working on a TV series that's a reboot. Oh, I am so shocked. I mean, let me go find my shock in whatever bottomless pit I threw it in, because it's long gone. For example, on June 25th of this year, Feldman tweeted, "If you're blissfully unaware, white rage is trending because folks are trying to keep critical race theory from being taught." Yeah, because it's racist. I'm not winning any new subscribers this way, am I? Oh well. A total normal and chill desire. They then disingenuously dismissed actual criticism of CRT, which has concerns over the reinforcement of such concepts as race essentialism and race-based self-loathing. No rage there, just daisies and white supremacy. Huh. Are daisies now white supremacists? Get on it, 4chan. Make it happen. However, their most egregious take... Stop saying there! This is either a man or a woman. There is no other gender, okay? Get over it, you fucking weirdos. Stop pandering to these shitheads. However, their most egregious take on the subject of violence and white supremacy came on December 14th, 2012, when they described how their own paranoia had then led them to a point where every time I pass a 20-something lone white male, I feel like you need to ask them to please not shoot people, just in case. All right, let's do the whataboutism thing. If you said that to a black person, you'd be a total fucking racist. But, whatever. So Feldman has since made her account private. I don't know, this might be a trans person, I don't know, but it's not a there. It's either a he or a she. Fucking A. Fucking stupid. This show's gonna suck if this kind of nonsense is what they're going with. Hey Andrew, how you doing? How's Sheffield doing? I'm okay. Called waiting for the first episode of the animated X-Men when it debuted. It involved Jubilee and giant robots hunting her in a shopping mall, similar to T2 in a way. Yeah, that's how they introduced her. She was an interesting character and a good actual addition to the X-Men mythos. Like Boom Boom was back in Fallen Angels and X Factor when they first introduced her. They've introduced a lot of really good female characters over the years, but they never get recognition. Jubilee, great character. This is a Robin knockoff. That was the joke, though. But the stuff they're doing now is just so freaking lazy. There's no depth to the characters. Jubilee was a mutant who was being hunted by Sentinels and ended up joining up with the X-Men. Very fish out of water type story. Now it's like, look at me. I'm the gay. And that's the depth of their character. It's pathetic. It's very, very lazy. Hey, this is Kyle. How you doing? Sheffield's covered in snow. Yeah, we had freezing rain earlier. I get it. It sucks. I hate winter. And hi, Louie, by the way. My advice is to keep talking about what you're interested in. Be honest, how you feel. Was being done with stuff you like. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been trying to do because I like to complain. All right, next up is from Daily Mail. Oh, Metal Gear, nice. Fan24 ambushed ex-WWE champ Seth Rollins because he thought the wrestler had scammed him out of hundreds of dollars in a business deal when in fact he had been hoodwinked by an online imposter. Oh my god, people are dumb. The Brooklyn man who attacked WWE star Seth Rollins at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn on Monday night had been planning the ambush since 2019 because he was scammed out hundreds of dollars by an impersonator pretending to be the wrestling star. Elijah Spencer, 24, released a bizarre video on social media Tuesday in which he identified himself as the fan who jumped over a guardrail at Monday Night Raw and tackled Rollins to the ground. It all happened in full view of television cameras that were broadcasting live and then rapidly pulled away from the scene. An internet sleuth, Steven Zotto, discovered Spencer's Instagram account. He also found screenshots of messages that were sent 2 years ago between Spencer and a fake account pretending to be Rollins. Spencer apparently blames Rollins for cheating him out of hundreds of dollars so that he could buy WWE tickets. When Spencer's girlfriend, or Bae, tried to pay for it with a bad check, she was arrested, according to Zotto. Wow, nice. Wow, this gets crazier and crazier. Random dude attacks a wrestler, and his girlfriend was kiting checks. Good job. This is the guy. This is his videos. There's links here. I'll drop this in chat if anybody's interested. I'm not a wrestling person, but I thought this was a funny story. The guy attacked Seth because he was messaging a definite fake account and believed it, and the business deal went wrong, Zotto tweeted. This kid's been planning this since 2019 because he messaged a fake Seth Rollins account, and he seemed to just eventually stop replying. Yeah, because that's what fraudsters do. Zotto unearthed messages in which Spencer appears to be making threats to the imposter, thinking it's Rollins. This account is really scary after Seth beat Dominic Mysterio. He gets mad about it and says it's payback time for you to say your last prayers. By the way, how your wife with her pregnancy, Zotto writes, quoting Spencer. Oh my. Oh, the whole exchange is up here. Zotto added the fake Seth seems to have scammed this dude out of hundreds of dollars and then got the guy's Bae arrested because of a fake check. Wow, that's messed up. This is sad all around. Rollins, 35, whose legal name is Colby Daniel Lopez, is one of the WWE's biggest stars and a former WWE champion. As he was leaving the ring on Monday night and heading up a ramp toward the locker room, he was met by a spectator, Spencer, who had approached him from the other side. The incident doesn't appear to have been a stunt, since Spencer was arrested at the scene and charged with attempted assault and attempted violation of arts and cultural affairs for disrupting a live sporting event. I don't know if I'd call that a sporting event. I mean, I think that's really reaching. More of a performance art piece. It all happened in full view of television cameras, which were broadcasting live, but then rapidly pulled away from the scene. I think they should have kept it on. That's way more interesting than their stupid little wrestling stuff. Spencer released a video on his Instagram account explaining his actions, though he made several obscure references that weren't immediately clear. It took some digging, obviously. That was me on WWE. Good job, idiot. Look, he's got a fanny pack It's kind of hard to respect you as a tough guy when you're wearing a fanny pack. You make a finger gun and be like all hardcore, and you got this stupid little fanny pack. I was booked from Goldberg and Vince McMahon, and I jumped over the barricade because I told Vince McMahon I had a personal beef with Colby Lopez. The man did not tell Colby I was going to be there. And the personal beef between me and Colby, and he knows what he's done. Yeah, I'm not really buying that. Why does he have a sparkle down here by his ding dong? Like, come on, dude. You're not even trying. You do not look tough. You just look like you're wearing your dad's suit like a little kid. What is this? Fix your sleeve, dude. That shirt is at least 2 sizes too big for you. And that hat does not match that shirt either. Just because they're both pinstripe doesn't mean they work together. Put a suit jacket on that matches this, and then you can tie it together. And it doesn't really go with the rag anyway, because that kind of, you already have like a hat on. So this is kind of like 2 layers of hat. Wear the hat on a hat. So as a related to the tribal chief and tribal cousin, royal, I don't know what any of that means. Yeah, there's a lot of words here. I don't know what they mean. He did it for his tribal family, and I appreciate this message. Is that a gang or is he in a tribe? I don't understand. Shocked fans filmed the incident at Barclays Center on Monday night and jeered before posting the violent footage online. WD officials, include security and referees, quickly intervened to pull Spencer off Rollins before the attacker was escorted out of the arena by around 6 security guards. Damn. One dude with a truncheon could have done that. There he is, running out there. Also, if you're going to run against a red background, don't wear red pants. It just looks like you're a torso hovering in space. He's not even wearing real pants. Those are like sweatpants or something. At least there's no crack. Rollins yelled at Spencer as he was being taken away and attempted to stay in character, but there was no further interaction between the pair. The crowd yelled their support for the security guards, chanting, "Fuck him up! Fuck him up!" as he was marched out. Later, WWE released a statement regarding the incident. WWE takes the safety of its performers very seriously. The individual who attacked Seth Rollins has been turned over to the NYPD and will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, as he should be. This is fucking sad. You had to sucker punch the guy, especially after he got out of the ring. Like, I noticed you didn't do this when he was all fresh coming out to go into the ring. You know, he'd already wrestled someone, so he's been doing his little performance ballet thing in the ring, getting all jacked up by somebody else, probably all exhausted, and you come running out and tackle him. That's kind of a bitch move. Rollins sustained swelling to his lips, or to his lip after the attack. Yeah, he probably got kicked in the face a few times by this dude's fat leg, but he refused medical attention. So he had to drive 30 minutes in an attack that he planned years ago. So, yeah, that's kind of messed up. But I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, so I thought it might be worth going over. But if you want to watch the links, they are in the chat now. Hey, Frosted. How you doing, man? Wrestler doesn't mention being on a bubble gum. I don't care. Fact. Because Roddy Piper was awesome in They Live. That was such an awesome movie. Very underrated and forgotten classic, which hopefully will never get remade. Dong sparklers are very in nowadays. I believe that. Oh, well, I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you, Frosted. Nobody, not surprised the con man fooled this one. Not a bright one, is he? Right? Hundreds of dollars. Yeah. It sucks. Look, when you're poor and you lose a couple $100, it blows. But yeah, this is total psycho material, like Louis said. This guy held a grudge for this long and set up an attack. That's fucking sad. Like, I get being upset, but it's really not worth the going and buying a ticket to a match over a couple $100, even if it's like $500, which is a fair bit of money for an average person. It's kind of pathetic to hold that grudge for this long and then run out and attack the dude and catch yourself some charges. You did it on live TV, dumbass. You're not going to get famous. They were doing They Live. Oh, God, I hope that's a joke. It'll be all boring and woke. So, yeah, I thought that was a good one. All right, let's talk about something a little more fun for a second. This one comes from ICV2. the geek culture website. WizKids unveiled 2 new dragons for D&D Icons of the Realm Fizban's Treasury of Dragons set. These dragon minis are badass from WizKids. WizKids unveiled Draco, Hydra, and Elder Brain Dragon premier figures that are to be part of the D&D Icons of the Realm Fizban's Treasury of Dragons set for release in March 2022. The Draco Hydra is the product of arcane experimentation and dragons and hydras banging. Wizards were attempting to recreate the power of Tiamat by mixing the magic of chromatic dragons and the blood of a hydra. They're toying with the natural order of things, created a dragon abomination. This gargantuan figure is a challenging encounter for adventurers at a manufactured retail price of $130. It's not just adventurers. That is a very big challenge to my wallet. Although it does look really cool. We'll look at the pics in a second. An Elder Brain Dragon is a result of teams of mind flayers successfully binding a dragon. An Elder Brain latches onto the dragon's brain and creates a roving nightmare for anyone foolish enough to cross its path. This is a gargantuan for $100. All right, so there's the Brain Dragon. Looks pretty cool, right? It's a gargantuan too, so it's going to be big. The figure will be about this high to it. Blah. And then here's the flying nightmare fuel. That would be a huge, huge challenge for any adventuring group if the DM's trying. So these look really cool, but they're very expensive. So if you're thinking about checking these out, start saving your money now. They don't come out till March, so you got a little bit of time. But $130 and $100, that's a big drop. Unfortunately, a lot of these go for way more money after they've been out for a little bit because they're harder to find. And once they go out of print, the price jacks way up, usually about twice. So I thought these looked really cool. Hey, St. Fugi. Oh, have fun at work. So you got hentai made a dragon. Yeah, it kind of does. You can't remake John Carpenter. Yeah, because there's talentless hacks doing it. They're athletes. Most wrestlers have a background in high school sports prior to going professional. Yeah, but it still looks like ballet. Ballet dudes are in really good shape, too. Doesn't mean I have any respect for them. Just not a wrestling guy. Never was. My grandfather loved it. He's like, can't fake that. That wrestling's real. All right, let's talk about another cool thing that's going on. This one comes from Critical Blast. America's favorite zombie officer returns to 4K with Blue Underground's Maniac Cop and Maniac Cop 3. So Maniac Cop 2 and 3 are hitting the 4K market. If you got a 4K TV, you can watch some B-grade cheese on the beautiful quality. In 1988, William Lustig directed the film Maniac Cop, written by Larry Cohen, which received lackluster reviews because people have no standards of taste and the box office revenues at the time. But later, when released on home video markets, the film became a cult classic, spawning two follow sequels, which have recently made their way to a 4K release. 2 years after the last film, Lustig reassembled the cast to create Maniac Cop 2, again written by Larry Cohen and starring Robert Davi, underrated actor, Claudia Christensen. Claudia Christian is hot. She was super hot back then during Babylon 5 days especially. Michael Lerner and Bruce Campbell, with Robert Zadar returning as the baddie in blue. Talk about all-star cast. You got Robert Davi, Claudia Christian, Bruce Campbell, and Robert Zadar. Not sure offhand who Michael Lerner is, but I'm willing to give him some B cred. Robert Zadar, I mean, come on. Return to Frogtown was a classic. Maniac Cop 2, which many see as an improvement over the first tale, is full of murderous mayhem, jump scares, and strippers. Well, you're selling me more and more, right? It continues the story of an undead detective on his mission of revenge and cleaning the streets of crime, leaving them washed red with blood. Yeah, which is what made it awesome. In 1993, They brought Robert Zadar back from the dead one more time for Maniac Cop 3, Badge of Silence. Often touted as the weakest of the Maniac Cop trilogy of terror, there are no weak movies in this series. It was panned and review bombed upon release, and only recently has begun to find its place, walking the thin blue line between horror and comedy. Yeah, it was a less serious movie, but that's what made it fun. By the time you reach the third movie in any series, you're going to end up taking it less seriously because the budgets are down. Usually you get inferior people working on it, which means bad acting, that sort of thing. So yeah, you got to kind of lighten it up a little, I guess. Borderline unwatchable at times. That's a lie. Cohen diverts from his tired and true blue revenge tale and introduces a witch doctor that brings our hero back to the living to do his bidding. Instead of sticking to the formula of a zombie cop walking the beat, ridding the streets of scum and criminals. You know what I would have loved to have seen instead of Jason Takes Manhattan? It'd be Maniac Cop versus Friday the 13th. Have Jason Voorhees face off with another zombie unstoppable murderer. It would be awesome because Jason is the ultimate criminal by being a mass murderer, and Maniac Cop, he likes to rid the world of criminals. So they should do a crossover. It wouldn't cost much because of the rights for Maniac Cop not being that big of a property like Friday the 13th or for like Nightmare on Elm Street was. So they could do a crossover like that for really decent budget and make it a really fun film. I would watch the shit out of that. I'd probably be the first person to buy a ticket for it. Probably one of the only people in the theater. But I would love that. That would be a great movie. It's a 4K transfer. So let's see the features. Disc 1 is the feature film plus some extras, audio commentary, music track, blah, 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 theatrical trailers. Then a making of on disc 2. Audio commentary by a couple people here. Q&A with director, deleted scene, theatrical trailers, posters, still gallery, etc. Maniac Cop 3, we got movie new audio commentary track with director Alan Smythe, theatrical trailer, new audio commentary on disc 2 as well. That's weird. Wrong Arm of the Law, the making of Maniac Cop 3, deleted and extended scenes, trailer, poster gallery, original synopsis. If you're a fan of the B-grade films like I am, this is definitely a must-have. I would consider getting a 4K TV just for this. These movies are great. Frosted, you may be onto something. Until his death, Robert Zadar should be in every B-grade movie. Him and Chris Sarandon. Chris Sarandon's a very underrated actor. Robert Davi was flipping awesome. Yes, he was. You've never seen Maniac Cop? What? How's it compared to Samurai Cop? You talk about Sergeant Kabuki Man and NYPD? That was a fun film. Samurai Cop is a weaker film. I know what you're talking about. Remember that old clip of a condescending reporter getting schooled by a wrestler with a chest slap? Yeah, classic. Zombie George Floyd. Jesus, Frosted. The Christopher Donner story. Yeah. It won't surprise me if they do reboot this. I've heard they might. I hope they don't, unless it's going to be a direct sequel and not a reboot. You don't need to reboot everything, even if there's been a lot of time off, especially with zombie characters. You can bring them back, and it doesn't make a difference. Miles Morales in the Spider-Man 4 remake? No, I'm sorry. I think Miles Morales is a stupid character. Brian Michael Bendis trying for early diversity hire crap. The Ultimates line, I hated it so much. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about HBO being stupid. We are at the 1 hour mark, which means it's time for shameless self-promotion. So if you'd like to support the show and help me do some Cyber Monday shopping, there's my Streamlabs link, which accepts PayPal. And here is my merch store link. So you can get yourself some cool shirts or mugs or masks or whatever it is you spend money on. There's also cool little like tote bags and pencil cases and all sorts of stuff. It's a little of both. Frosted, it's good / bad, and it is schlocky in parts. The first couple are more straight up horror films, but the third one is definitely a lot more like Jason X, I should say. They recently gave Miles the Clone Conspiracy. They're going to make Gwen Stacy every character in the Marvel Universe. Yeah, I saw that. It looks dumb. The whole Gwen, Spider-Gwen nonsense is stupid. It's lazy. It's poor writing. If they made her interesting, it'd be one thing, but they don't. They treat it like a joke character, and that hurts the characters by treating them like jokes. It's just somebody that doesn't like Spider-Man being a dude, as far as I can tell. Been killing zombies in Resident Evil 3 remake while listening. Gotta stay up for a long time since starting a new schedule at work. Oh, that sucks, dude. Yeah, the Gweniverse. That's exactly what it is, Frosted. They're doing it's a side to the Spider-Verse. So they're mocking themselves. It's not shilling, it's grifting. Now, grifting would be if I wasn't providing anything. Shilling is different. Grifting, I would be saying, like, hey, I've got grifting ain't easy. Grifting would be more like, hey, I'm this awesome guy. You should just give me money. But I'm actually doing a broadcast, so I don't have enough subscribers to monetize, and I wouldn't get it anyway with what the words I use on here. So yeah, it's more shilling than grifting. I would disagree with you there, but yeah, no thanks to the Gweniverse. Yeah. Demonic Toys versus Dollman. Oh, that is a good movie. I don't know if that's the best one, but it definitely would rank in the top 5 for me. Oh, it's a reoccurring joke? Oh, okay. Thoughts on the upcoming Spider-Man? It'll be dog shit. I'm not interested. I'll wait till it's on one of the streaming services to watch it at someone else's house. Spider Babe with Missy Mundane. I love Missy Mundane. She's got a great sense of humor for some of the movies she does. There was one where there's an Asian chick that does similar types of movies to what Missy Mundane does. And I forget her name off the top of my head, but she did this movie Tarzana. And it's basically Girl Tarzan. It's a softcore goof off fest, but there's some really funny moments in it. Spider-Man was horrible. Yeah, it was, but that's what made it fun. Yeah, Frosted, if you're not a Spider-Man fan, like a big comic Spider-Man fan, they're decent movies, but I just didn't like them. I thought they were kind of whiny. Yeah, ex-Bubba Hotep, you're not wrong. Spider-Queen is the most awesome thing ever. If Marvel shoveled enough money at me, I don't think I could still bring myself to say that with any degree of seriousness. The hard R Planet of the Apes. Oh, ew. I've heard they're remaking Planet of the Apes, by the way, and I do not respect that at all. Leave the originals alone. They were fun movies, and they were classics. Charlton Heston was awesome, especially in the first one. I love all those movies. TV series was pretty weak. They could probably have done better there. It was just serialized storyline of the week kind of thing, and that was tiresome. But I loved the movies, and the newer movies, the Marky Mark one, I could take or leave it. It was okay. It had its moments where it was pretty good, but it's largely just a C-. The newer movies like Rise of the Planet of the Apes and the ones with what's his face, they were okay. I haven't seen the last one they did, but they looked okay. I didn't have a problem with them. They just weren't the classics the originals were. The originals had much better script writing. Damn dirty apes, right? Yeah, I have to rewatch those the new ones because I did like the first one. Second one I don't really remember, but I think it's the third one I didn't see, the most recent one. Yeah, the damn deity apes too, right? The monkey god's gonna come looking, James. I'm just saying. The Monkey King, that was his name. All right. HBO Max centers Birds of Prey R-rated version replaced on streaming. This is from Screen Rant. They want your money for this service. HBO Max replaces Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. What a stupidly long title. I don't know the Hollywood obsession with long titles. That's a terrible idea. R-rated cut with an edited TV 14 version on streaming. A loose spin-off from the 2016 Suicide Squad insofar as it follows Harley Quinn. After the events of the movie, Birds of Prey wasn't the first R-rated superhero movie, but it was the first entry in the DC Extended Universe continuity to be rated R. Additionally, it was the DCEU's first fully female-fronted movie with Robbie, or whatever her name is, Robbie, leading a cast that included Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya. You're way too old, Rosie. Journey Smollett Bell as Black Canary, terrible casting. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, awful as Huntress, and Ella J. Bosco as Cassandra Cain. So they took Cassandra Cain from being the mute that she was when she first took up the Batgirl costume to being a chubby teenager who whines a lot. The movie being female-led even extended behind the camera, with Robbie serving as a producer and Kathy Yan of Dead Pigs directing from a script by Christina Hodson. I'm starting to see a trend as to why this movie sucked. Hired a bunch of wokists. However, despite largely positive Birds of Prey movie reviews from Who, the movie underwhelmed at the box office, earning $201 million worldwide against a budget of $100 million. So they broke even. Figure another $100 million for marketing, which they marketed the shit out of this movie. So they probably spent more than that. Although there were a few factors that may have contributed to the disappointing box office performance, including the film's title obscuring Harley Quinn, as well as the widespread shutdowns due to the Coof, less than 2 months after Birds of Prey release date. Its rating, R rating, is one such factor. I don't think the R rating had that much effect on it. A great deal of superhero movies are rated PG-13. Who cares? The rating doesn't mean anything. Most of the people seeing this are older anyway. They wanted to go for the teenage market. They would have made it PG-13 from the beginning. The fact is, this movie sucked. Now a censored version of the film has replaced Yan's original theatrical cut on Warner Brothers streaming service HBO Max. Now, update purposes, they did put the original back, supposedly. Reported by CBR, as of this writing, Warner Brothers has a censored version streaming on HBO Max. It included a card at the start of the film saying this film has been modified as follows from its original version. It's been edited for content. Within the film, curse words have been removed or dubbed over. Gosh darn it. Yeah, turkey. Yeah, fabulous turkey. And explicit visuals have been edited, like Harley Quinn giving a 2-finger hand gesture instead of a middle finger, and Renee Montoya's "I shaved my balls for this shirt" blurred out. Per CBR, this is the TV 14 version of Birds of Prey, running on broadcast and network TNT, despite HBO Max landing page for the movie claiming it's an R-rated version. So there's some screenshots. This was changed to this. That doesn't even look natural. Look at the length of her fingers. Holy shit, she's got long fingers. And they blurred out the words on her shirt. Yeah, this is lazy. It's unclear if this edited version, being the only available cut on HBO Max, was an intentional decision. Yeah, probably. By the streaming service or some kind of technical mix-up, as WarnerMedia has not yet commented on the situation. Why would they? It's frustrating that Yan's original R-rated version for Birds of Prey isn't easily available on WB's official streaming platform. Who fucking watches this movie anyway? Especially since the landing page for the movie doesn't say so. That's where it's really awful, is they're lying to you by suggesting that it's the R-rated one when really you're getting a different one. That kind of bait and switch shit is getting really tiresome with these platforms. They did it with Back to the Future. They're doing it with other stuff. This is not surprising to me at all. I don't think this was a technical error. I think they did it on purpose. Now, one theory that's been floated around the internet recently is that in an effort to make more money, what they're going to do is release the edited one as the free one, and then you have to pay to see the uncut one in a separate fee. That would not surprise me at all. A lot of these streaming services are suffering because there's too many of them. You've got Paramount, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, Discovery Plus, and something else. There's another one out there that are all charging you $10 to $15 a month, roughly. And now they're giving you the shitty edited one you could have watched on TNT for free. That's going to cost them customers because people don't like being deceived. Hi, we're the DCEU and want to ride the coattails of Deadpool and Guardians of the Galaxy. Too bad we have no talented filmmakers. You're not wrong. Have a good one, Otho. Morning, Gladius. Birds of Prey on DVD. Haven't gotten around to it yet. Also need to watch the New Mutants. I've heard the New Mutants is better than Birds of Prey, which isn't exactly a high bar to set. But yeah, this is just irritating. They're trying to make this movie sound like it's a good one that people care about, and they don't. The only DC movie I'm looking forward to is the upcoming Batman, ironically directed by the guy who did the New Apes trilogy. I really hope that movie is good, but it does not look that good to me. The new trailer looked a lot better. People really don't like being ripped off. This kind of bait and switch shit is going to cost HBO Max money. Right, James? But yeah, this is tiresome. And I don't think people appreciate getting the edited stuff for when you're paying for the streaming service, especially. Maybe give people both options and say the edited one and the unedited one. Fine, I'd have no problem with that. But don't try and trick me. Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't been watching South Park, but I'm glad they took some shots at him because this is bullshit. It's why people don't trust Hollywood. I still haven't watched the whole thing, Frosted. I watched part of it. I watched most of it, I should say. I kind of fell asleep for a little while, I realized, but it was okay. I think it was better than the Whedon version, but that wasn't saying much because that movie was so disjointed. Yeah, I watch mostly Netflix, or sorry, not Netflix, YouTube stuff and stuff on Rumble and BitChute. So I don't watch much. I have HBO Max, but that's more for my parents to watch. I watched a couple of things on there, but not much, and I really just don't have the time to watch stuff unless I'm over at my folks' house helping my mom out. So I really don't have the time to watch anything. Which my mom hated Dune, by the way. She said it was boring and there was too much sand. So paying for all this stuff is waste. No, I haven't talked about Masters of the Universe yet. No, not yet. I keep forgetting. Snyder Cut is even worse than the Whedon cut. Oh, really? Well, yeah, I'd have to disagree with you a little bit there, but I think both of them aren't that good. They're not really DC characters. They're trying to mimic the Marvel movies, and it comes off as just generic dark movie, and that's boring. There's no sense of optimism or hope anymore in comics or most media, and I think that's what really hurts them is that people want these grandiose godlike heroes to be interesting and inspire people, but they come off as like cynical and boring. I hate that. It does get everywhere. I mean, including the Anakin's pee hole. Apparently, I don't have time to watch anything anymore, so I'm not even gonna bother with another Fire Sticky one. Thanks for letting me know, though. I barely even use Netflix. Yeah, my brother has it, and I'll watch stuff with him occasionally, but most of the stuff we want to watch isn't on there. But I get you're out in corpse. Hey, Tyray. Yeah, it happens a lot. Yeah, the dubbing stuff was just lazy. And, I'd rather just watch content creators on YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute. They're way more interesting, and it's free entertainment. I can help support them by watching the ads and whatnot, but I just don't have that much motivation to watch some messaging from Hollywood that's going to shit all over my breakfast. I don't need that kind of crap. But they are re-releasing some of the classic stuff from comics, at least. Will now be known as Sandy Penis. Yes, that is Anakin's new name. Well, until Revenge of the Sith, when it got burned off, his wiener went bye-bye. Well, on the plus side, no more sand in it. So from ICV2, Gallery Edition of Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions coming in June. This is the type of Marvel content I will support, because Marvel needs to see sales on classics outdoing their new woke crap, and maybe they'll change direction. But I doubt it, but it's possible. Marvel's bringing back the first ever limited series in an oversized hardcover format. Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions Gallery Edition will be released on June 22nd, 2022. Collects the 3-issue Marvel Superhero Contest of Champions, first published in 1982. This was not the first limited event series ever. I know World of Krypton, the 3-part miniseries, came out in 1979. So there were miniseries before this. This was just one of the first Marvel did. Along with West Coast Avengers Annual 2 and Avengers Annual 16, Contest of Champions was written by Mark Grunwald and penciled by John Romita Jr. and Bob Layton. The collection also includes work by writers Bill Mantlo, hero, legend, Stephen Grant, awesome, Steve Englehart, and Tom DeFalco, and art by Al Milgrom and Bob Hall. The 168-page gallery edition will be a hardcover with a 9x13 trim size and will have a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $45. You'll be able to get it cheaper than that on Amazon and half-price trades and all the other websites that sell discount stuff, probably even eBay. Most comic shops even tend to cut deals on this stuff occasionally, but this was a really fun miniseries of the time, and you get the West Coast Avengers and Avengers annuals, so that's a nice addition. The plot of Marvel Superheroes Contest of Champions had the Grandmaster challenging death to a game, and they pit the heroes against each other. It was good times. It was one of the few times that actually worked and was entertaining. So, yeah, this looks really cool. The Death and the Grandmaster decided to have a little wager, and they just were betting on everybody kind of picks a team, and they face off against each other in a contest of sorts of the heroes. It was a challenge of the heroes. If you're a League of Legends fan, Arcane was a good first season. I don't really watch the cartoons. I've heard good things about it, though. Heard it's a lot better than Masters of the Universe, which is a pretty low bar, because I took a big poop earlier, and that was a lot more fun and entertaining. All right, let's talk about worthless shit that nobody really cares about. This comes from, what is this, Bleeding Cool? Ah, crap, my system lock up. I remember if my computer crashes, I'll be back in less than 5 minutes, usually. All right, from Bleeding Cool, Fictional Frontiers, new Muslim streaming comics announced at SDCC. Does anybody even watch the San Diego Comic Con on YouTube? Because I don't know anyone that does. And this is by Rich Johnston. I attended the Global Myth for the Muslim World panel at San Diego Comic Con Special Edition earlier today, featuring creators Sarah Mughal and the API Pit Twitter pitch, Reem Sukari, creator of the graphic novel The Next New Syrian Girl, and Jabal Entertainment CEO Sohib Awan, writer of IDW's Jinn Rise. I don't know why there's a whole bunch of books about Jinn out this year, but here we are. And they were here to announce Fictional Frontiers from Jabal Entertainment. Did they get permission from their husbands to be here and stand with this stranger? Nice douchebag chin beard, by the way. Anytime I see a guy with one of these Kegel hats and this kind of chin thing, I automatically suspect them of being a hipster and annoying. Because it seems to come with that look. When it comes to narratives inspired by Muslim perspectives, representation doesn't tell the whole story. Of course not. Every human being, regardless of background, is informed by a set of experiences, values, and beliefs. A worldview serves as not only a roadmap to actions and reactions, but also provides insight into what one's aspirations might be. For the Muslim, the continuous actualization of truth and beauty is life's ultimate aim, the path to which, with its many obstacles and triumphs, makes for the most compelling of stories. Word salad. Launching next year, Fictional Frontiers is a Muslim-focused creative collective. Did Charles Manson have one of those? Starting with a subscription-based digital platform. Yeah, good luck with that. For comics, prose, poetry, and video content. Lame. Fictional Frontier states that it will be an incubator for talents and narratives from and inspired by the Muslim world. And they announced the first 2 comic books. Let me guess, one of them is Roof Gaze. This is Beyond the Forest by Noor Youssef, Tadi Nouri, and Annie Melania. The art needs a little bit of work. This looks really weird. This looks like the NPC meme with a purple wig. Yeah. Concept for the image is okay, but it needs a little bit of work. And the coloring looks really muted, and that's not helping. Why do all these people have dyed hair? Is she supposed to have regular red hair, or what? What is going on here? Beyond the Forest is an upcoming comic book sequels? Tells a story of adventure, friendship, and growth in which 3 children, under the guidance of an unassuming wise woman, of course it's a woman, travel through a magical Mirab, I don't know, into the legendarium of the Awliya. Mystics from every corner of the Muslim world who have fought seen and unseen dark forces for over 1,000 years. What, like Christians and Jews? The series creator and 3-time Young Muslim Writers Award winner Noor Youssef explains the Awliya began like any one of us, wanting to know the world themselves and the heart-rendering things that make up what it means to be human. How amazing would it be to not only experience their adventures, but to learn how to become the heroes? This sounds like a chick track. Or some sort of conversion book. This is a book called Model, written by Ink and Hack. Really? That's what you picked your own nickname, didn't you? Drawn by Dedi Kornawan. They hope to have I don't care. They hope to have a half a dozen for launch next year for San Diego Con 2022. Sarah and Remy also have projects not yet ready to announce. That means they haven't come up with them yet. The panel talked about the difference between stories that focus on Islamic culture or values. Sarah writes fantasy and contemporary fiction inspired by manga and anime, but is often frustrated by Muslim characters who appear in fiction who look Muslim or are Muslim by name, but they never get stories where they're proud of their identity, comfortable with their religion, pray 5 times a day, wear a hijab, or have a strong relationship with their family, or drive trucks through Christmas markets. She wants to ask what kind of character you are making, what decisions do they make, and how do they tie in to their faith? If not, are you whitewashing their identity away? This is something she is constantly debating with herself, still trying to figure out, but notes that people will navigate you away from portraying Islamic characters in work. Did your husband say you could do this? What about your father? Did he give you permission? I don't know about that. Why aren't you wearing your full burqa? Reem stated that she doesn't put Islamic values in the forefront of her fiction. Yeah, right. And it's more present in the themes. Yeah, right. She is Syrian American and is happy to be writing those characters. So he mentioned that Muslim storytellers are not proselytizing or evangelical about their faith. Yeah, right. They don't want to preach, but to explain. Sure. Anybody getting thrown off a building in this one? Be very Syrian of you. The story is not there to convince people, but to inform a worldview. Oh, evil America, I can hear it now. But fans and readers are not interested in seeing a particular story where a character is replaced by another, but the story is the same. They want fresh, different takes that rather than replace an external character with another. Well, I agree with that. The problematic trend is that he sees the stories again and again, even from Muslim writers. Yeah, that is a problem. If he does something original, great. Maybe I'll read it. But if this is just more tired political messaging about, oh, boo-hoo, poor Muslims, and how America's the evil oppressor, I do not care. Sarah mentioned how many Muslim characters were either terrorists or girls who begin wearing hijab, but then fight to be able to remove it. Yeah, it's pretty tired, isn't it? Reem said she doesn't blame characters for that, but there are gatekeepers who say yes to some stories and no to others, with concern over how to market a story. That the sameness is not coming from the creators, but there are many, but the system that shapes them. No, a lot of it is the creators. This is the story they tell over and over again. It's the same shit. It's very tiresome because they're unoriginal and bad writers. Don't just try and blame the corporation for that. A lot of these writers are just hacks. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner we can all move forward. Because this limited thinking shit, just blaming the companies, is tiresome and lazy. And maybe if there was so many Muslim terrorists, we wouldn't have those stereotypes. Sarah talked about how when she was 18, she wanted to get to an agent and wrote a manuscript. The big agent reached out to represent her, but was a caveat. Your book is too cultural, too many brown characters, too many stories inspired by Islam. Tone that literalness down, and we can get this book and pitch it to producers. First of all, I don't believe this conversation happened. They probably said, you're too ham-fisted with your themes. You got to dial it back 6 or 7 notches. And that would be fine. That would be understandable. But I think she tried to say too many brown characters. I don't believe that ever fucking happened. Look at the waves of all brown characters that we are seeing in media now. That's not the issue. It's the lazy writing. She asked herself if this was the only way she could get an agent and to re-edit her manuscript or just move on. You can always self-publish, lady. It's not that expensive or difficult. Amazon will let you do it for free. Speaking of which, buy my books. She then chose to move on or wrote a non-fantasy story. Other agents reached out and she got lucky. Did she get lucky or did she write a better story? You know, it's not always just luck. Sometimes you have to have talent. I know, that's shocking. But here we are. Life's difficult. Reem stated that one of her upcoming characters is not a particularly likable character and was told, we love the story, but the character, can you make the character more likable? Eventually, she got a Muslim editor who said that she gets it. The character's a teenager. She's a boxer. Well, female boxer? Okay. What, there's like 4 of those in the world? She's not going to be perfect and she'll grow. Okay, if your character's unlikable and she grows and becomes more interesting, that's fine. But I have a feeling that you just went and ran behind the skirts of Islam to get a Muslim editor that just agreed with you because you're also Muslim. This sounds lazy. I agree that there's a lot of lazy Muslim tropes out there, but if you're going to wear the burqa and start preaching that you're Muslim, don't be shocked if people are like, hey, there's some really blatant themes here that you're not even trying to hide the messaging. Maybe dial it back a little bit and just tell an interesting story about people that happen to be Muslims or based on Muslim folklore or mythology or religion or something like that. As long as it's good, people will watch it and read it. But this just sounds like it's going to be more PC shit dressed up. Iranian Parliment isn't funding her. I don't know. Superhero suicide bomber. Marvel Comics in the 90s actually had Christian graphic novels. Yeah, Marvel did publish a Pope John Paul II comic. A lot of people forget about that. Captain Jet Fuel versus Steel Beam Man. He can't be melted, dude. It's just not possible. Yeah, Viking. Crowdfund it. Let the market decide. Yeah, if you go on Kickstarter and have a pro-Muslim book, it will get funded. There are lots of people that love that shit. Informing a worldview, that sounds super entertaining, yeah. Hey, Pete, how you doing? 3 payments of $20 animated Christian Bible stores. Oh, I hated those things. Let's see a comic starring Muhammad. It'd just be a blank book. Iceman's getting really nervous. We're not wrong. Yeah, the problem is that there's a lot of radicals out there that would have a problem with even this happening because there's women creators behind it. All right, let me find another article. Let's talk about Benedict Cumberbatch. This comes from the Daily Mail. We need to fix male behavior. Woke actor Benedict Cumberbatch calls for an end to toxic masculinity and says men have to shut up and listen. Why don't you shut up and listen? Benedict Cumberbatch has claimed that we need to fix the behavior of men as he called for an end to toxic masculinity. The Sherlock star made the comments while advertising his latest film, Power of the Dog, an adaptation of the novel by Thomas Savage. Cumberbatch plays charismatic rancher Phil Burbank, who inspires fear and awe in those around him, and used a promotional interview to explain the importance of exploring such topics. He told Sky News, we need to fix the behavior of men. We have to kind of lift up the lid on the engine a little bit. I think it's ever relevant, and it's in a world that's questioning and ripping into and finally pointing out the inadequacies of the status quo and the patriarchy, it's even more important. You want to know why we're going to get invaded by China? Here it is. You get this sort of rebellion aspect, this denial, this sort of childish, offensive position of not all men are bad. No, we just have to shut up and listen. Why don't you shut up and listen? I don't want to hear some harpy nag me all the time. Just because you're a beta pussy doesn't mean everyone else should be. There's not enough recognition of abuse. Bullshit. That's all anyone talks about. There's not enough recognition of disadvantages, and at the same time, somewhere along the line, maybe not now, but somewhere along the line, we need to maybe do what the film does as well, which is examine the reason behind the oppressive behavior to fix men. Fuck off. Comes after his co-star Kirsten Dunst admitted that she isolated herself from Cumberbatch on set. Spider-Man actress claims she kept a distance during filming due to Cumberbatch largely staying in character as the menacing Phil. Yeah, well, maybe he's just an asshole all the time. In an interview with the Radio Times, she said, we didn't talk at all during the filming unless we were out to dinner on a weekend all together or playing with our kids. However, she also added, he's so sweet and he's so British, polite British, you know? I was like, I can't talk to you. He sounds like a big pussy, and she felt safe because he's just a male feminist, which means she should probably not take any drinks from him. Noted, Cucumber Man. I'll take it into consideration. You're right, correct. He's probably not your real dad, although you might want to ask your mother just in case. The real villain is the patriarchy. Yeah, no shit. Toxic femininity. Yeah, that never gets addressed. That women can't be because privilege plus power equals some made up bullshit. Yes, Frosted. He did. What my Italian Viking superhero, he kills people and makes lasagna with them. Yeah, good luck with that, evil one. And that's not going to... Masculine films do not get much money these days. Like, even the Expendables movie, which I don't really like most of them. They're okay, but they're kind of cheesy. And they're not good cheese. They don't get much budget, but they do well with men. And that's seen as bad. That's why you don't see them on TV very often. Go read some Bob Dole news. No, Merle, this is not the political channel. This is just me bitching about politics and comics and games. But no Bob Dole news, I'm sorry to say. Okay, got to fix a link here real quick. All right. In more interesting news, Bunny Boiler, yeah, you're not wrong. Like the first Expendables, haven't seen 2 and 3. 2 was okay. I don't remember 3 at all. I know I saw it, I just don't remember it. Tiger King Joe Exotic moved to medical facility after cancer diagnosis. Former zookeeper Joe Exotic, who featured in Netflix's Tiger King, has been moved to a medical facility in North Carolina for federal prisoners following a cancer diagnosis. During the late hours of November 16th or early morning hours of November 17th, Joe was taken out of his cell and put on a private plane and transferred from the Fort Worth Medical Center to the Bunter Federal Medical Center to being treatment for his prostate cancer. To begin, I think, is what they were saying. His defense attorney, John Phillips, said in a tweet on Saturday. Phillips also said Joe Exotic, whose real name is Joseph Maldonado Passage, was getting medical treatment and tests for a host of issues, according to the AP. Prostate cancer, thankfully, is pretty treatable, but it depends how long they waited, because the prison system is not exactly in a big hurry most of the time. Phillips said that the prison medical care isn't best suited for everyone. It's a completion of life and liberty no one wants any part of. Yeah, I would not want to get prison medical help. Maldonado Passage was sentenced in January 2020 to serve 22 years in prison after being convicted for attempting to hire 2 hitmen to kill Florida animal rights activist Carol Baskin. Look, none of us like animal rights activists. They're annoying. They're not as bad as the eco-terrorists, but they're annoying. I get it. But hiring a hitman is not the right course of action. Maldonado Passage gained international fame for being featured in the Netflix documentary series Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness, which I think they have new episodes of. The season 2's on. An appeals court recently reduced his sentence after finding that the trial wrongfully calculated his prison term on 2 convictions. The 10th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver said he should face a sentence between 17 and a half to 22 years rather than between 22 and 27. If he survives his cancer, he could probably get out a lot sooner. I don't know if he did any of this or not. I haven't finished watching the show. But, yeah, so I feel bad for anyone that gets prostate cancer. It sucks. But the Oppression Olympics tells you that being a perceived disadvantage is power, and power should... Yeah, you're not wrong, Peter. They don't want to admit they're playing the politics game. Animal rights activist murder should be community service awards. Wow. I can neither agree nor disagree. So, yeah, Joe Exotic's in the hospital. All right, let's talk about maybe not that one. Let's talk about Red 5 Comics for a second. They've got a new book. This comes from Variety. I just saw this one before I went live. Mystery Brothers, Quentin Lee's Asian American comic book to be published by Red 5, according to the Comic Con. This is an exclusive. Unless you were at the Comic Con, then you knew it too. So not really exclusive. Red 5 does a lot of, what's a nice way of saying indie books. But they're a very small publisher, but they've been doing a few things lately. They did, I think they did White Lily from Pocket Jacks Comics. And they did, oh shit, what was the name of that? Afterburn, which is supposed to be getting like a sci-fi movie treatment. I don't know why you have to tell me it's an Asian American comic, because that shouldn't matter if it's good. Although this art makes me doubt that with Giraffe Neck Boy. Independent comics firm Red 5 Comics has struck a deal to publish Mystery Brothers, an Asian American and Pacific Islander science fiction adventure comic hatched by filmmaker and author Quentin Lee, who wrote White Frog, I guess, or that's his nickname. I don't know. The deal was unveiled Friday at the 2021 special edition San Diego Comic-Con. Separately, Lee's literary debut and first novel, The Secret Diary of Edward Ying, will be published by Troublemaker Press on Cyber Monday next week, which would be Monday this week coming, because today's Sunday, technically. The terms of the comic book deal see Red 5, known for its work with Amazon's Comixology platform, acquire global publishing rights. Lee's Margin Films retains all media ownership of the property. Set in New York, Mystery Brothers is a sci-fi fiction universe about 2 Chinese-American 13-year-old half-brothers, one of whom may or may not be completely human, battling to save their parents and protect humanity from a robot domination future. You know, a Wednesday. The comic book is the first collaboration between Lee and Argentinian-based artist Ellis Zill, in which Lee wrote the words while Zill hatched the pictures. I don't know if pictures hatch. I think they're more taken or drawn. Zill is represented by Argentina's Alter Comics Studio. Okay, that needed to be shared. Oh, look, this person I've never heard of is represented by people I've never heard of. Good job. When Quentin brought Mystery Brothers to us, we immediately knew it fit our mission to deliver stories that are fun for everyone, said Red 5's Scott Chitwood. Mystery Brothers brings back feelings of nostalgia for movies of the 80s where kids faced extraordinary situations with a sci-fi twist. See, that sounds cool, but the previous paragraphs weren't selling me on it. Red 5 produced a combination of creator-owned books and internally developed titles and recently optioned titles like Afterburn, Haunted, Riptide, and Spook. I've only read Afterburn, well, one of the Afterburns, and it was okay. It really was a bit unrealistic, but it could make a decent action movie. Mystery Brothers is expected to debut in July of 2022 with an exclusive edition at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. Concurrently, Margin Films is in final negotiation with Spores Network to distribute non-fungible tokens of Mystery Brothers and sync with its publication schedule. Yeah, those will be real valuable later. Based in Vietnam, Spores is a metaverse media company that leverage. I don't give a shit. So yeah, this series, I don't care that it's Asian American. That's not a selling point. Is it good? It really didn't tell me a whole lot about other than the basic premise, which they should have focused more on than the fact that he's Asian. I don't care what he looks like. I don't care about either of these people. I don't know them. I don't know who they are. I don't care. But the book premise sounds fine. The art, it looks like it needs a little bit of work. The coloring, I don't really care for. This love of purples and pinks that's going on these days, really lazy. But if it's an 80s style book, it could be good. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's what's coming from Red 5. Hey, Serenamantine, how you doing, man? Yeah, I only care about if it's good. I don't really care about where it takes place. Just give me a good comic. That's so hard to find. Right? A book about Asian twins? Yeah, you've screwed up if you lost me. But these are dudes, so I care less. So how much the comic will be Kung Fu and what will be sexy Asians? There won't be any sexy Asians, I don't think, and it probably won't have any Kung Fu. The art does look like crap. Hopefully it's not that bad, then that's just like some concept art, but I'm not holding my breath. Let's get rid of that one. All right, let's make fun of the X-Men some more. Everybody's ethno-state favorites are back in the news again. Now, remember, the X-Men decided they wanted to be an exclusive ethno-state, so all the mutants went to Krakoa and said, nobody that's not a mutant can come to our clubhouse, including the Jewish mutant Kitty Pryde, because she can't go through gates. So they didn't want any Jewish kids or non-mutants in their little island enclave. Then they blackmailed everybody by threatening them with their superpowers if they weren't all granted immunity as diplomats for some reason, which no country on Earth other than the mutants gets to do that, where every single citizen is a diplomat right off the bat. And they were abducting people's children and taking them to Krakoa. Oh, yeah, and dealing drugs on the black market, as well as bribing other countries to accept them. And then Emma Frost and Charles Xavier mentally dominated people into voting recognition in. Hey, Keever, how you doing? So this comes from Bounding into Comics. Marvel's X-Men Green Arc sees Nature Girl murder store clerk over a piece of litter, escapes punishment. Of course she does. She escapes punishment because she's got diplomatic immunity. So the mutants can murder people with impunity, and then if anyone tries to arrest them or stop them, the full weight of Krakoa's X-Men teams can come down on their government because they'll be considered a declaration of war. And let's not forget Charles Xavier mind-raped Reed Richards so he couldn't build a specific device that inhibited the mutant gene. So he went in there and dug all that information out of Reed's brain and destroyed it. And these guys are considered heroes by the Marvel Comics. And what can charitably be described as a poorly executed attempt to create an edgy new environmentalist mutant anti-heroine. The most recent storyline featured in X-Men's Unlimited digital series sees Nature Girl unapologetically murder a random store manager after finding a piece of litter from his establishment, only to be released to punishment thanks to the intervention of the sentient Krakoa. The Jerry Dugan written Emilio Lasso and Rochelle Rosenberg illustrated story, not so subtly titled X-Men Green, begins in the digital exclusive series 5th issue, where the Botanopath, sitting on the beaches of Krakoa, Jesus, with a group of other mutants, sees a dying sea turtle stumble upon the shore. What's a sea turtle doing way out there? After comforting the reptile in his last moments before death, oh, it's so eco-friendly, and mourning its passing, oh no, a turtle died, Nature Girl discovers the oceanic creature's cause of death, asphyxiation via grocery bag. She didn't think to look in its mouth, really? Courtesy of the fictional Owens Grocery in Las Vegas, Nevada. They do know Las Vegas is landlocked, right? No, sad. What? This dude's fat. Holy shit. Do some sit-ups if you're going to wear skin-tight clothes like that. Opening a gate from Krakoa to Sin City, Nature Girl is next seen storming into the store, confronting a manager and blaming him for the litter, despite the fact that he is at best a middleman between the bag's producers and the individual who presumably discarded it. Do you know where I found this bag? Demands Nature Girl to the store's manager. He says, no, I don't care. Now get out. It was lodged in the throat of a beautiful sea turtle. Like he has any say in that. Seriously, this is some most likely franchise store, and some crazy woman with moose antlers comes in and starts screaming at him. Yeah, get out. You're causing a scene. You're being disruptive and disorderly. In response, she fires back, well, it may have been beautiful, but it wasn't that smart if it ate a plastic bag. Now you can buy something and she stabs him in the neck. This planet is not your toilet, you stupid barbarian. She just straight up murders an innocent man who, I don't think this dude drove all the way to the coast to throw some plastic bag in the ocean so some dumbass sea turtle would eat it. What did this guy have to do with any of this? Hey Megan, how you doing? So this is crap. After escaping from Las Vegas and charming a K9 unit, sorries to her side along the way, the young mutant is soon confronted by Wolverine, who has been sent by Professor Xavier to track her down and bring her back to Krakoa for trial, where she'll get a little talking to for like killing a worthless human. I mean, they are Homo superior, and we're just lousy Homo sapiens. However, Nature Girl manages to evade the longtime X-Men, yeah, right, stealing his motorcycle while he battles a black bear, whom the fugitive mutant, in a rather hypocritical move, coming from someone who claims to be on a crusade to protect the planet's wildlife and fauna, has manipulated into fighting him to the death. So that sea turtle is more important than this bear's life so she can escape. Don't steal that bike. Don't tell me what to do. This is a supervillain. She murdered somebody and forced this bear to fight Wolverine to its death, which she knew couldn't win against Wolverine. After briefly returning to Krakoa to pick up a few of her personal belongings, and in the process recruiting the mutant curse to her cause, Nature Girl takes her crusade to somewhere in the Dakotas. So the writer doesn't know anything about the Dakotas. Good job. Joining a group of protesters and demonstrating against the construction of an oil pipeline. Oh, how timely. By the Cyanide Oil Company. Or Cyanidine, I don't know. It looks like cyanide. That's the joke. Late stage capitalism was actually multiple system failures. Late stage capitalism is a phrase that commies and Antifa use. Corruption was all but legalized. Journalism was dismantled and diminished. Yeah, right. Yeah, because they don't criticize the Chinese government. How about that? Environmental protections were rolled back. No, they weren't. And nobody could man it. Stop. Oh, yeah, because these guys are going to go beat the shit out of these dumbass hippies. Never happens. They just go home. They're like, whatever, protesters. In here, Nature Girl kills her second victim, and under the threat of being struck from behind by a wrench-wielding worker who's a bald white supremacist. He's wearing a wife beater. He's bald. He's white. We get the idea. The Eco Warriors turns quite literally to using her horns offensively, fatally slitting her attacker's throat. She really likes hitting people in the throat. And of course, she's a strong, powerful minority. Look at that stance. Look at his. Oh, he's evil. Oh no. Yeah, this would never happen in real life. Declaring war on the fictional oil company's Dakota-based refinery, Nature Girl soon encounters the facility's resident metahuman security guard, Black Mamba, who attempts to use her ability to manipulate the Dark Force to prey upon the mutant's sense of guilt. However, confronted by a vision of her first victim, Nature Girl is shown to see her actions as a necessary evil. I didn't kill some turtle. He didn't. Some single-use plastic did the trick, and it might have been from our shop, but don't you think you overreacted? Yeah, a little bit. I'm not sorry you're gone. You're just one of the problems infecting the planet. I would kill you again. The guy did nothing. Nothing. Raymond, Sabretooth was escaped from there, and they never explained how for a couple of issues. And he was an evil straight white man, so that's okay. Yeah, Gladius, that is the level of writing we're talking about. Jerry Dugan can be a good writer, but he hasn't been in a long time. That's how it should end, Rotten. Villains in Captain Planet were subtle and nuanced. Yeah, compared to this, they were. Following her successful destruction of the refinery, which is probably an ecological disaster, Nature Girl is eventually captured by Wolverine, who returns both her and Curse to Krakoa to stand trial for killing a man. It's never specified whether she's being held accountable for the clerk's murder or the killing of the pipeline worker. Nah, she gets one for free. They're just filthy humans. Before the island's quiet council, which quickly will give her hugs and kisses. Though Nature Girl attempts to justify her crimes on the ground that Earth must be defended because it's the only planet she has to live on, no, they colonized Mars. Storm has declared herself queen of outer space because the X-Men colonized Mars. So that means they own all of outer space now, and humans need permission to go up there. I'm not even kidding. And they also have a terrarium on the moon as well. So there are other places she can live. As even terraformed locations such as Mars don't mesh correctly with her nature-based abilities, probably because it's Krakoan terraforming, and it's just giving that island more power. Her arguments do little to sway the council, who eventually find the two mutants guilty and sentence them to the customary Krakoan punishment of eternal waking confinement within the dark depths of the sentient island, which will last for about 2 issues, and they'll be back to being terrorists. But that is where my remorse ends. Yeah, she doesn't care. And my cause is just and right. My anger is just. Oh, God, this is terrible writing. And the art. I mean, she's got stupid little moose horns. It's fucking dumb. The two mutants are soon relinquished to their new prison, only to awaken a short while later, alive and fully conscious at the sight of both Sorise and Cypher, the omnilingual translator who serves as the communicative link between Krakoa and its resident population, who announces, "This is your only get-out-of-jail-free card. You have to leave now. Krakoa is paroling you." The former New Mutants member explains to the island will not abide the destruction of this world. So the island's giving her a free pass despite this alleged sentence by the Quiet Council. Like you, it has nowhere else to go except it's on the moon and on Mars. But this is the end of your story in paradise. You're disallowed. You can't come back. You can't use portals. You can't even be spotted. You're going to need to adopt other identities, go dark. That's going to be fun with these little stupid horns. Look at this shit art. What is with this? His weird cheekbones. This looks like early Rob Liefeld. God, that is bad. Despite the island's refusal to leave them completely in the cold, gifting Nature a bespoke cudgel with a few surprises in it. So she got a magic weapon out of it from a couple of murders. I guess she leveled up on the eco-terror list. Made from a piece of Krakoa itself before the two fugitives go into hiding, smuggled away from their former home by a boat courtesy of Pyro. So they're free to go commit more crimes. And they got this, what looks like a Photoshop drawing of a dog that's way more detailed than anything else in the picture. Concluding on a single shot of the three Krakoa staff in hand, disembarking in an unidentified city. X-Men Green Arc ultimately ends with the group's de facto leader declaring, "Let's begin." So they're free to go commit more eco-terrorism, and that's what the book is calling justice. They get away with 2 murders, and the United States can't even prosecute them, because if they did, it would be a war crime against Krakoa, because even though these people are supposed to be imprisoned on Krakoa, they still have their diplomatic immunity. This is the type of shit Marvel is turning out on a monthly basis. Yeah, they have a love shack on the moon. There's other buildings on the moon they've referenced as well. I think they're in the blue area where the Inhumans used to live. It's really pathetic. It's just lazy writing. Oh, thank you, Baby Vaso. Sorry I didn't see this. Didn't realize that I was a minute behind. Anyway, you sure you won't want to read a comic by an Asian woman with double D's? I wager she won't be writing any of the female empowerment comics. I don't know. It depends if it's any good. I don't really care who writes them as long as they're good. Reality will not be kind to them. Yeah, it's power fantasy for lefties. That's all these are. They're power fantasy books. Remember when the X-Men were sympathetic and encouraged acceptance by people who were different? Now the message is kill them before they gain power. Yep, that's exactly right, Frosted. It used to be a quest for acceptance, and they were doing the right thing and helping people even if they weren't accepted. Even if those people hated them. Oh, have a good one, nobody. But that's long gone. They've adopted the Grant Morrison perspective of these people should be evil. And that's what they've turned the X-Men into, as supervillains. They want power, and they think humanity is all evil, despite the fact that very few humans have actually attacked them. And in the 60s and stuff, fine. There was misunderstandings. People were afraid of them. And they should be afraid. These people are walking weapons of mass destruction. Of course they're going to be afraid. Who won't be? But you're supposed to humanize people and make them understand you. Going around bullying everybody and outright murdering people and getting away with it is not exactly a way to engender friends. Especially with Xavier going around mind raping people all the time. So, yeah, it's gone way downhill. It's unacceptably bad. All right, let's talk about Games Workshop. This is funny. This is from the Nottinghamshire Live. Nottinghamshire Live. There's no hobbits, I looked. Games Workshop headquarters in Nottingham shut down until further notice due to major sewage collapse. See, they weren't just talking shit, they were living it. They made all mutants villains because it's a power trip. But because people see themselves as these characters when they write them, and they all feel like they're victims. So they see the X-Men now as LGBTQ plus whatever numbers and symbols. They see them as representative of that and the strife and oppression they feel. And they have to view everything through a lens of oppression. So that's what we're seeing through here. Games Workshop Nottingham headquarters in Linton is closed until further notice after a major sewage collapse. The company, which produces Warhammer products at its Nottingham factory and offices site, confirmed its headquarters in Warhammer World Building in Willow Road is shut after the collapse yesterday morning, Monday, November 22nd. The incident means the road had to be completely closed off, resulting in the closure of the popular store. Work is currently ongoing to tackle the problem. In a statement issued on its Facebook page, Games Workshop Warhammer World said, due to unforeseen circumstances, Warhammer World will be closed until further notice. Now, this came right around the time they were putting out that memo that their games are a satire and shouldn't be taken literally, and that supremacist movements shouldn't be using their iconography. So they were talking shit, and this has probably caused an overload. We have had a burst water main on the corner of Willow Road and Letton Lane, and the council have completely closed Willow Road, which allows no access. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause, and will continue to update you here as soon as we are able to reopen. In an update today, it added, please note Warhammer World remains closed until further notice. A highways alert was issued by Nottingham City Council, confirmed Willow Road had been closed at the junction with Linton Lane, as well as the area of Linton outside the sewage pumping station. So, yeah, maybe they're flooded with shit. So, yeah, that's just karma. I'm not a huge believer in karma, but this does give you a little bit of credence to that. So, fuck you, Games Workshop, you overpriced trash heap. I liked a lot of Games Workshop stuff, but they have gone really woke lately, and it's sad. They're caving to the social justice mobs, and their stuff is vastly overpriced. They would probably have a lot more players worldwide if they would reduce the prices, because it's all plastic now. Yeah, it's a shame. They've got great games, and they want to tinker with it, and they want to cave to the woke mob. It seems very divided at Games Workshop because they have resisted a lot of stuff that has come across them, but it's hard to feel bad for them when they gouge you on prices all the time, and they keep making minis you have obsolete. Funny enough, the mutants are supposed to be the heroes of those stories. Yeah, that's the thing. It used to be a book about acceptance and learning to like people that are different than you and how they can be heroes too. And now the X-Men books are just about revenge and power fantasies. It's disgusting, and it makes me very angry. Grenadier models are better. Yeah, they were. Grenadier, Reaper, they all had good minis around in the 80s and 90s. And Warhammer, since they went to plastic, it's not that great a plastic, and I can see why people bootleg this stuff. I don't play, so I wouldn't do that, but I can see why people do it, and it's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up how they think they can charge $60 for 5 plastic minis that might cost them 50 cents. All right, we're creeping up on the hour, which means not only are we almost done, because I've got 3 more things to do here, but it's also time to shill. Shameless whoring. Oh, yes. Buy my merch. Give me your monies. All right, there's my Streamlabs link if you want to make a donation, and the Teespring store where you can pick up cool merch. X-Men is where I really got into comics. Yeah, I didn't have that many X-Men comics when I was really getting into comics. We could only get what was off the newsstand in our local area. And there weren't any comic shops really close by for a long time. Up until, wow, I think the first real comic book store I've set foot in was in right around Spider-Man 300, which I used to have 2 copies of, and now I have none. I sold them actually way cheaper back around 2008 during the financial collapse, and I ended up having to sell almost all my comics. It sucked ass, because now all that stuff's really expensive. If we would just sell the files to people so they could 3D print them, they would engender a ton of favor from fans. Yeah, if you want to sell me the 3D file for $50, fine. I'll buy that. Oh, looks like I might be roboting. If I drop, just wait. Oh, looks like it's fixed itself. All right, I think I'm back. Yeah, it's been doing that around this time a lot lately. So if I do end up dropping, just refresh or wait a few minutes. I'll be back. Brought a job, a lot of figures, long time ago, and a bunch of dwarves and bears in it. Made seriously good money. That was a great Christmas. Yeah, I bet. A friend of mine bought a house, and in the closet at one of the bedrooms was a box full of Warhammer minis. And she gave them to her kid who played with them for a while, and then they sold them at a garage sale. I'm like, you just sold those at a garage sale? She's like, yeah, we got like $1 a piece for them. You're dumb. So my friends are stupid. Let's talk about something that hits near and dear to my heart that greatly impacted me. Lisa, star of K-pop group Blackpink, tests positive for coronavirus. It's from the New York Times. Now, that's Lalisa Manabon. She's got a fun name to say. And then there's Jenny Kim, and that is Rose Park. And Jisoo, I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Lalisa Manabon A global megastar who performs as Lisa in the K-pop group Blackpink tested positive for the Coof on Wednesday, her production company announced. The other members of Blackpink, a four-woman group whose fame and commercial success has traveled far beyond South Korea, were not listed as close contacts, but were awaiting results of a PCR test. They came back negative, just so we're all sure. Thankfully, the beautiful ladies are fine. The production company YG Entertainment said in a statement sent to Korean news organizations, as of Wednesday morning, Miss Monaban, 24, has 24, had not yet addressed her nearly 68 million Instagram followers on the positive test. The Thai-born singer and rapper Miss Monaban is among the most acclaimed faces of K-pop with legions of fans. Yeah, because she's smoking hot and talented. She is part of K-pop's most globally successful all-female group. 5 of Blackpink's videos have reached more than 1 billion views on YouTube, including 1.7 billion views on Do. Miss Monaban's debut solo album, La Lisa, was released on September 10th. Her first single, La Lisa, set a YouTube record for most viewed music video by a solo artist in 24 hours, with 73.6 million views, during dethroning Taylor Swift's Me in 2019. With strict limits on international travel and consistent masking, South Korea has been among the world's most successful countries at limiting coronavirus outbreaks. Yet they already had a lot of rules in place because of SARS. Reporting about 3,300 total deaths. Cases have surged on to record levels in the past 2 weeks, reaching a new high of 4,116 new cases on Tuesday, but they have remained relatively low compared to the world. Currently, 6 daily cases per 100,000 people, compared with 29 in the United States, 35 in Singapore, and 158 in Austria. So I wish Lisa the best. She's very talented, like all these beautiful ladies. And if she needs some comforting, she can contact me through the Twitter machine. And yeah, I will nurse you back to health. I mean, yeah. But yeah, it sounds like she's doing okay. The others tested negative, so she was working on stuff for her videos, and she has her own YouTube channel, so she probably got exposed to somebody through like dance practice or just going out and about on publicity tours. So I hope she's okay, and we can all hope for the best for the beautiful Asians, especially this Thai princess and this Australian hottie. And these two are hot too, but let's be honest. We're ranking here, you know. Anyway, 1-800-LOVE Dungeon. You're not wrong. Good. More Asian means more Asians for the rest of us. Why am I not shocked Jack's into K-pop? I've made no secret about my K-pop love. I've mentioned Blackpink several times. I think they're very like adorable chicks, and they're all cutesy and adorably Asian. But yeah, they're one of my favorite K-pop bands. I mean, Twice is okay, and 4 Minutes good, but if you're talking K-pop, Blackpink is where it's at, because they're in your area. If you don't get that joke, you're not a Blackpink fan. She's sick or just test positive. As far as I know, she hasn't shown any symptoms. She's just like run down, but that's all speculation. We don't know a lot, but she's in quarantine. And she's been there for several days now. But hopefully she's just, she's young and she's in very good shape. Very good shape. So she should be okay. But you just never know. Yeah, go to Evil One's Twitter for hot Asians. He sends them to me constantly. I love Blackpink. Who doesn't? They're amazing. They are super cute, too. I'm going to drop a link to one of their videos if you guys haven't seen them, because they are fantastic. Let's see. Which one do I give you? I'll give you the link to this one. Yeah, they are so cute. Give her the Mectin. Oh, I'd give her an injection, all right. I mean, yeah. So Blackpink, they're in your area. Wipe the drool off your mic before. No, the microphone is 1.5 feet away from me, so I'm just drooling and wiping it off my face. Bandmaid. Yeah, baby. Bandmaid, yeah, good band. Baby Made. Baby Metal's good. I actually think they're pretty hardcore for a chick band. And who's the other one? You, of course, have AKB48. The classic lineup. The current lineup's just okay. But if you go back to the older ones, there's some great K-pop stuff. And, of course, you can't get by on J or K-pop without bringing up Night of Fire. Because by Hanoi Team, that's a legendary band. Which I know a lot of people haven't seen that. But that video is hilarious. And that song is super fucking catchy. I actually have that album. That was one of the first K-pop albums I ever tracked down, or J-pop albums I ever packed down. GMing a Pathfinder game. Any advice where to find the decent, cheap miniatures for NPCs and monsters? Check eBay. Usually you can find some old Reaper minis. Really cheap, big lots of them. If you look for Reaper or Grenadier, there's tons of that stuff floating around. She can afford healthcare she might need. They have socialized medicine over there, but yeah, she's rich. So they have a vested interest in keeping her alive because YG Entertainment has made billions off of Blackpink, and her new solo album is a huge success. She's still on the top 10 chart over there, which is really hard to do. Gay pop? Oh, no. The only gay ones are like BTS. Fucking stupid. Love Bites is a really good band as well. Hot Asians. Yeah, there's a lot of smoke shows on there. So yeah, Frosted, I'd check eBay. There are some Kickstarters out there for minis too, but I would just get on eBay and buy a big bulk lot of them. Or get some plastic ones. I was at the dollar store, Dollar General, and their post-Halloween stuff, they had mummy and skeleton figures, skeleton pirates and regular skeleton army minis. They had like 14 of them for $1, and they were 90% off. And they're still sitting there. I had some around here, but I don't know where they went. Because I was going to do an unboxing of them for the patrons. Reaper's still around. They have a huge catalog at decent prices. You just have to paint them. Paint them. What a waste of time. Just put them out there. Who cares? Oh, you want to paint your mini? You go right ahead. I'm not wasting my time doing that. Said gay pop, not me. Oh, no, I meant K-pop. I was just drooling too much. Yeah. K-pop. All right, it's that time of night. Let's talk about Masters of the Universe. So the second half of Masters of the Universe Revelations dropped, and I saw this Screen Rant article. Backlash was heartbreaking for Kevin Smith, maybe because he lied about being a fan of the show. Fake geek. Kevin Smith details the heartbreaking reaction to the first half of Masters of the Universe Revelation. Maybe you shouldn't have killed He-Man twice. When Smith first announced he would be working on the newest animated incarnation of Masters of the Universe in December 2019, excitement was high among fans of both the original and those who enjoyed Smith's film and comic book work. Everybody forgets about the 2002 Masters of the Universe, which was good, not as good as the Funimation one, in my opinion, but I'm usually in the minority on that. The series assembled an all-star voice cast, and anticipation grew for the return of one of the most popular toy brands of the 80s. Yeah, everybody was excited, especially when they saw who was doing the visuals for it, because that animation studio does a really good job. It was visually fine. It was very good, except for the weird Sailor Moon transformation scene. That was kind of dumb. Netflix decided to split the 10-episode series into 2 parts, which was their biggest mistake, with the first half dropping in the service on July 23rd, 2021. The series received positive reviews from critics, who are all sucking up to the studios, but shortly after the premiere, the series audience review bombed. No, it wasn't. People just hated it. To drop as many were upset at some of the major changes to the Masters of the Universe mythos. Yeah, worse changes. For instance, some were unhappy with He-Man being the main focus, not being the main focus instead of it being about Teela, because they sold it as a He-Man story. If they had called it Teela, Master of Mary Sueism, then maybe they would have done better. The second half premiered. I'm going to give spoilers. This is your warning. So if you got to bail, I fully understand. Thank you for coming out. This is the last topic, but I'm going to spoil the shit out of the second half of this. With the fate of the series currently unknown, but a tease for promotional season 2 was set up in the final moments of the show. Not really. They kind of did that. In a recent interview with Thrillist, Smith spoke about the backlash to the first half of the story. The filmmaker is very open about the heartbreaking experience and draws parallel to witnessing what happened with the response of Star Wars Last Jedi, which he openly weeped about like a bitch. So fuck off, Smith. You lied to us. You shit on anybody that complained about it, and you lied about people that tried to warn about how this is the Tila story. And they were right. I know he did that with Clownfish TV for a fact. He probably did it with others too, and fuck him for that, because they were right. Those leaks were him freaking out. If he had kept his fucking mouth shut, there wouldn't have been nearly as much controversy, and a lot of people that watched it, a lot of people wouldn't even have known about it. But he had to go out and run his mouth like a fucking tard. Smith acknowledges the difference between people's actual grievances while also realizing that some people jumped onto a bandwagon of hate. No, you were a dick to the fans. For a perceived political agenda of the series, it had a very blatant one. This is what he said. A lot of people were dismissive, but at the root of it, yes, I'm sure there were some people who were just jumping on a political bandwagon. But you had some cats who were legit like, this was my childhood, and you did sad things to all of them. I'll be honest with you. I had nothing but enthusiasm right to the moment of the episodes dropped. Because honestly, I didn't think we screwed with anyone's childhood. I thought we honored it. No, you didn't. You lying fucking sack of shit. If you know the Mattel source material, this thing is so crazy true to what was created years ago. That's a lie. Which by the time you get to the second half, you see what we were going for. I honestly felt like, oh man, any kid who's ever loved Masters of the Universe, who's an adult now, is going to love this. No, they didn't. You're full of shit. And you were dumb if you believed that. I knew there were going to be some people who were like, it ain't for me, but I never thought we would make people unhappy. How did you not think killing off the main character in the first episode would make people unhappy? How did you not realize that, you fucking idiot? This is the guy who's made all kinds of pop culture commentary in his movies, criticizing people, and he can't take it. Talk about being thin-skinned. Fucking pussy. In a way, when I sat by on the sidelines and watched people react to The Last Jedi, I thought, man, people really take this stuff seriously. You mean like how you commented on Star Wars all the time in your movies? Suddenly, and on your podcast and in your TV show? I suddenly found myself at the epicenter of something like that, and it was heartbreaking for me because I honestly thought we were giving people the ultimate Masters of the Universe, so it was a bummer. And you can't take criticism because you're a bitch. Now watch how when his NDA is up, I saw people say this, when his NDA is up, he's going to blame everybody else. He cannot take criticism, good or bad. I think his ego is huge enough without any input, but he can't take any kind of constructive criticism. Like, we didn't like this. He can't take it. He thinks he's so awesome. Comparison to Last Jedi seems appropriate on a number of levels. Both that the film and Masters of the Universe Revelation are continuations of properties that were popular in the 80s and whose audience saw them as kids and are now adults with built-in perceived expectations of what they want the story and characters to be. Way to blame the fans. Not they made shit products. No. It's the fans have just built it up too much in their mind. Some of that may be true. The rest of it's bullshit. Both push their stories in bold new directions. No, that's not the same thing as making crap. They re-examine the mythology and lore of what came before, while also digging deeper into the characters. There are also two projects made with love of the material that wants to deconstruct, but also remind why the material is also enduring in the first place. Deconstructionists do not have a love for it. Otherwise, they won't be tearing it down and leaving it dismantled. And the way they tore it down to rebuild it was the laziest fucking thing ever in both movies. Star Wars did it by creating a Mary Sue, and Masters of the Universe did it by converting someone to a Mary Sue. But also to remind, which is also likely to upset certain audiences. Yeah, it's the fans' fault. Who just want to recapture the magic of what they first discovered. Yeah, why have a continuation when you can tear it all down and destroy it and take a big steaming shit all over it? Okay, so you see this? This is big dumb retard He-Man, because He-Man is just muscles and dumb. So they kind of teased this in the preview trailer for this. Now, remember, I had to watch this today. Prince Adam calls down the power of Grayskull without the sword as a conduit. Don't you mean leaders of the universe? No, I didn't. So did He-Man stay dead? No, he comes back. Kevin Smith, yeah, that's true. Didn't care about spoilers since I'm not planning on watching it. Yeah, I don't blame you. Don't give these views, because that's what they are counting on, is hate reaction views. Don't watch this shit. It'll help boost their numbers and justify them saying, oh, this is super popular. Look how many people watched it. They're going to lie about their numbers anyway, I have no doubt. But by watching it, you are just feeding their belief that this is popular and people want to see it. So Prince Adam doesn't die because Mary Sue Tila uses her shaved head powers to heal him, because even though she's not trained in sorcery, she somehow knows how to cure critical wounds. So she heals him up, and he tries to call down the power without the sword as a conduit, and it just turns him into raw power. So he becomes this stupid, mentally deranged, lunatic, barbarian He-Man, which is a pseudo homage. This is what an homage is to people that don't know what it means and don't know the source material. In the original comic books that came with the figures before the cartoon, there was no Prince Adam. He-Man was a Conan knockoff, and he was just a barbarian that left his village to go fight an interdimensional monster known as Skeletor, and he ended up with the Power Sword. The Power Sword was just a magic item that unlocked Castle Grayskull, and He-Man was like the best and brightest of his tribe, etc. And that's what they're trying to pay homage to. But the barbarian He-Man in the comics was not stupid. He was a really intelligent guy. They made him into a Neanderthal here, an evil, blonde, white, straight man. They tried, it looks like to me that they tried to fix some of the last couple episodes because they don't tonally fit with the first half. The whole black girl, whatever her name was, Andrea or whatever, the love relationship that was obviously coded to be gay between her and Tila was toned way down, and at the end, Adam and Tila become friends again. It's fucking dumb. But there were a lot of issues I took with this because the story makes no sense at the end there. Skeletor gets sidelined by Evil Lynn as she takes the power for herself. And remember, this is supposed to be a kid's show. She gets the sword away from Skeletor by promising him sex. And now they don't explicitly use the word sex, but she said that other favorite activities. And then she straddles him on the throne in Grayskull and starts kissing his teeth in some weird way because he doesn't have lips. So she's kissing his teeth and rubbing on him and takes the sword away from him that way. That's not very kid-friendly, okay? Then in the first part of this one, where Adam comes back, I'm jumping around because I'm angry. Tila and or whatever her stupid fucking name is, Girl Power, the black one. Smith became a real pussy ever since his daughter turned him into a vegan. You're not wrong, Grizz. I think he was on his way there before that. He made 2002, made quite a few changes, was quite popular. Fans only died because it didn't sell toys. Fans can handle changes. That's true. It wasn't a bad cartoon, and some of the changes made sense. Other ones I didn't agree with, but whatever. It was a good show. But yeah, so in that first episode of part 2, which I guess would be episode 6, when they come back to life, the sorceress sacrifices herself to teleport our heroes back to the castle. Not Castle Grayskull, but the royal chambers. And there they run into Fisto and Clampchamp, who immediately get turned into monsters and are killed. The heroes, Prince Adam, Tila, Cringer, and the black chick, whatever her name is, I forget because I don't care. They kill Fisto and Clampchamp. They're in the show for not even 5 minutes. And then Skeletor has their souls because he has all the power in the universe, and he snuffs it out completely. And then he destroys Preternia, which is the heaven of Eternia. He destroys that. So let's think about this. Who's in Eternia? King Grayskull, who is now a black person on the show. They killed both the black characters in the first part of that episode. Okay, and nobody's bitching about that? Are you fucking kidding me? They killed the two canon black characters. Well, Clamp Champ's the only one that was actually black. King Grayskull used to look basically like this, like He-Man, because he was one of his ancestors. They race swapped him, just like they did with the black chick that's Tila's lover. She was a white blonde girl in the comics. And they killed those two black characters. So they had to wipe out all of the black men from Eternia. Are you fucking kidding me? They just outright murdered Fisto and Clamp Champ in the most bitch way possible. It was fucking pathetic. And then they wiped out Heaven, which Paternia gets restored, but they never say that the people that were killed come back. So Mossman is gone forever. King Grayskull is gone forever. Fisto, Clamp Champ. Who else did they kill? They killed a couple other characters. Beastman dies. They killed a couple of major characters. And I was like, are you fucking shitting me? You're killing off these major characters that people love for no reason. It had no plot significance whatsoever. They weren't referenced again after they killed. They threw in some fan bait, like, oh, look, Point Dread. Oh, look, the Talon Fighter. Oh, that's so exciting. We sort of see Buzz Off and Stratos, but you can't really distinguish them from all the other B-men and Avions that show up. It's fucking dumb. This was so poorly written. And with these adult themes, you're not appealing to children. There was the nostalgia bait was not there for payoff. It was lazy afterthought. This was a messaging about Mary Sue Tila, and this was her story. He-Man really exists in this series outside of his Prince Adam form for 2 episodes. We get Big Dumb He-Man for an episode, which is really stupid, and it's never brought up again after that first episode of it. So that was just weird messaging. But we see He-Man actually being He-Man in the first episode and the last episode. And then he teams up with Skeletor and doesn't think that's going to backfire on him somehow. So there's that. And they killed the sorceress, which pissed me off. Which, okay, you wanted to make Tila the goddess or whatever, fine. But she didn't even take on the serpent look that she has in the original toys, where she has the serpent cowl. They didn't go with that. They gave her a bird outfit, which made no sense. So you're not really giving the fans the elements they wanted. You're just kind of alluding to them. It was so fucking horribly written. It really does look like the second part was edited in some way to try and mitigate the hate that they got for part 1. And they sort of tried to restore the status quo, but it really didn't work. It was terribly written. They did kind of set up Hordak as being in the season 2. If this gets to season 2, I'll be shocked. This was dog shit. It was not nostalgia for the fans. It was a slap in the face to the fans by tearing down He-Man to give this Tila story of strong, independent Mary Sue that don't need no man. And it didn't work. It was just lazy writing. It was a very convoluted mess at the end. Kevin Smith clearly does not like Masters of the Universe. He has said that before. And then he tried to retcon that when he got this job. To be like, oh, I'm a giant He-Man fan. Burr, burr, burr. Don't lie to us, Kevin. You're a fucking idiot. You're not that smart. You're not that creative. And you've sold out. You've sold out 10 times over. You went with woke shit. You caved to the ideals of ideologues rather than putting out a good story. And Kevin Smith is capable of doing better work. His Daredevil comics were pretty good. But ever since, I don't know if it was his heart attack or his daughter, or something, he got real woke. Maybe he just wants to be invited to the right cocktail parties and doesn't want his friends alienating him. So this is some awful signal. They killed these characters for no fucking reason and then literally destroyed their souls. It was stupid. They brought Orko back. Big fucking deal. So fucking awful. This was dog shit. This was dog shit. Well, I suppose he's guaranteed boner. Yeah, probably. First half implies Skeletor was evil because he was an incel. The second half implies he's bang evil in. Yep. Those contradictions are never addressed. It's just whatever they need him to be. Robot for saying, oh, sorry. Might be my mic peaking because I'm angry and I'm shouting. All right, I did have one other thing I forgot about. There was a short video we're going to watch. If I could stop knocking over my copy of the Blair Witch Project. So a British MP mentioned Doctor Who in Parliament the other day. And I thought we'd take a quick look at that.
Everywhere, not at least within the...
Oh, that's really quiet. All right, so this is... Shit, forgot his name already. Nick something. It's Nick Fletcher, Conservative MP.
Everywhere, not at least within the cultural sphere, there seems to be a call from a tiny yet very vocal minority that every male character or good role model must have a female replacement. One only needs to look at the discussion surrounding who will play the next James Bond. And it's not just James Bond. In recent years, we have seen Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, Luke Skywalker, The Equalizer, all replaced by women. And men are left with the Craze and Tommy Shelby. Is there any wonder we are seeing so many young men committing crime? Everywhere, not at least...
Yeah, his argument is that young men are committing crimes because they don't have male role models. Is that the Rome chick? I don't know. No, it's not History Chick. No, we're not watching that on Comic Book Channel. Puddingberry. No, his name is Nick Fletcher. And he's talking about the replacement of masculine characters with women. Seeing that with James Bond and several other characters from Doctor Who, all throughout pop culture. And he's not wrong. I think the lack of masculinity is detriment to society. So he's right on that front. And I wish more people were talking about this, but they're not. Instead, people are just going along with it. That new Equalizer show, for some reason, got renewed. I don't understand that. That show is horrible. You've got a late middle-aged woman kung fu fighting with a bunch of like younger men and winning. No, I don't think so. It's fucking stupid. He probably was frosted. I'm sure he got reprimanded for it because how dare you go against women? Why do you hate empowered women? Because it's fucking dumb. It's unrealistic. Most women do not want to be action stars. I'm sorry. There are some that do, sure. And some people like Angelina Jolie could do it. But you got Queen Latifah out there. She's like 60, gonna break a hip trying to fight dudes. Whatever. They replaced fucking Robert Woodward with Queen Latifah. Are you shitting me? Fuck off with that noise. Can't wait to see the new Blake 7 where they're all synced up on their menstrual cycles. God, such a disaster. Yeah, if you want good media, you really do have to suspend your disbelief and get over low budgets and go watch older stuff. Yeah, most women want to bang action stars. They like Daniel Craig because he's masculine. That's why they liked Roger Moore, even though he looks like he's a California raisin. And Pierce Brosnan, he's not exactly the most physically intimidating, but he's got swagger. He's got style. Sean Connery. I mean, who thought chicks would bang that hairy old dude with no hair on his head? He's got like a werewolf sweater going. It's all over British media. Male characters replaced with females and whites replaced with blacks and Muslims. It's beyond pervasive because we don't have the demographic split the U.S. has. Yeah, and I don't understand that. It's a very homogenous island. There's just not that many black people and Muslims in the UK, percentage-wise. I mean, you probably have a lot more now, but it's disproportionate. And the fact they're doing that with historical-based shows is really bizarre to me. Like, you want to do what was that? There was a show where they replaced one of the queens with a black woman. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? What? You got Mary Queen of Scots. There's not a lot of black people in Scotland to begin with, but to race swap stuff like that, it's dumb. And it's very historically inaccurate. No matter what revisionist history they try and pull out of their ass, it doesn't work. Unless they think these woke shows have no audience or being financed behind the scenes, they're paying so they made their money even before airing. Well, in the UK, it's even worse because they require licensing fees so you can have a TV to watch over-the-air broadcast, and that's how BBC makes most of its money. It's running on taxpayer money. It's like PBS here in the States. Oh, and Boleyn, thank you. Yeah, that looks so fucking dumb. Oh, what an atrocious idea. And they tried to make it so. I saw an interview with somebody that was like, oh, yeah, well, was described as having darker complexion. Yeah, she wasn't fucking South African. What the fuck, man? She's not sub-Saharan Africa. I'm sorry. Mary Queen of Wakanda. Yeah, don't give him ideas, Anthony. Although that I admit I'd probably watch that because it'd be funny. A lot of black people in England are Christian, not Muslim. Yeah, well, hate fact. You can't have any Christians positively portrayed anymore either. You have to show that the Muslims are kind-hearted, wonderful people of peace who never, ever try and run into a Christmas market. When do we get a Chinese Martin Luther King? Give it time, man. Give it time. It'll probably happen. Probably when we're taken over by the Chinese because we'll surrender to them. Battlefield 1, the German army was basically half black. It takes place in World War I. I forgot about that. Remake of Zulu, all-white cast. Yeah, that'll never happen. What gets me is the Zulu tribe in South Africa is not native to the region. They conquered that area, and they drove out a lot of the pacifist tribes that were first there when the Dutch showed up. So it's funny watching the Zulu politicians talking about how it's their land, and it's not. They stole it from another tribe. And that's historical fact. You can go look that one up. Everyone, I'm here for a Victorian age British sitcom set in Wakanda. That could be pretty funny, actually. Yeah. I would watch that, especially if John Cleese was in it. But yeah, this is just getting worse and worse. Seriously, stop supporting garbage media like this. It's just not worth your cash. And it just reinforces their notions. Conquering was invented by whites. Yeah, that's the lie, isn't it? Human nature invented conquest, not skin tone. So sad. Anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Thank you so much for coming out, everybody. Thank you for the donations. It's greatly appreciated. Appreciate it, Baby Vaso. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Do something exciting so I can pretend I did it. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you haven't already. Share it on your social media. There's my merch store link because I'm a shameless whore. And if you want to check out some reviews, I will drop the link to my other channel so you can check that out. Have a great night, everybody. Hopefully, we'll see you on the next one.